Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, T. Kell, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. T. Kell and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suits your needs. Instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones, they can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
Deep down the middle's got his man, and he's gone. Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain event.
Guess what time it is? My time. You can check your iPhone. Better say it's our time.
With your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 pounds and a Rick Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America, 865-255-03. Ben McKee, Jason Swain here on a Tuesday. It is June the 2nd, 3 minutes past the top of the hour. Again, Jason Swain here, Ben McKee. Hope you're having a great morning. Ben, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jay Swizzle. Good morning, S Squared. Hope y'all are doing well this morning.
How long did you work on that, man?
The 3 minutes I was in the shower.
Awesome.
10 minutes ago.
Awesome. It's good to know that you was thinking about me and my wife in the shower.
I figured that you would like that. Thought of your wife first, and then you popped in my head.
Oh, man. 865-255-03 is our telephone number this morning. Thank you, man. Thank you. You rocking the buzz cut today. Thank you, man. Thank you for making me feel good about being bald, man. You're getting more comfortable about coming over to the bald side. So
Hey, bald is sexy. That's all I know.
Oh yeah. Now that you decide to do it, now it's sexy.
To be honest with you, I've never thought bald looks bad. To be honest with you. And I'm truly saying that. I'm not saying that because I'm on the verge of being bald. I've never thought that bald people were ugly, or that was a ugly style to rock. I've always thought that, bald people in general they just look fine. They look good.
Yeah, so some folks have choices. Some folks don't have choices.
Correct.
I mean, if it falls out, never grows back, you don't have a choice. You're kind of stuck with that. So
yes. Now, I would much rather prefer to have hair, but I don't think bald people look bad because there is this stigma towards bald people like it's a curse, which in a way it is, I guess, because you don't have the ability to grow hair. But I don't know. You always see people on social media making fun of bald people in their Avi, and I've never understood that because most bald people look fine.
I have not seen these people. Maybe I've already blocked them before. But I don't even really block people like that. Maybe I've muted them. But I have not seen this, Ben. What I have seen is quotes from the Slice podcast and Brandon Johnson, senior wide receiver. It's his turn. We've heard from other players. I think it's really good what Tennessee is doing, and letting people hear and see the personalities of our players. And I think we live in an age right now where it's important to highlight our players. Players more now than ever are conscious about their brand, and they should be. They are bringing a lot to the table. They're giving their all. Physically, they're putting it on the line every single day. They have a strenuous schedule, and so if we can highlight them and put them in a position where they can, earn more money or be more valuable during their playing days, and then when their playing days are over, hopefully that their brand is strong enough to where they can go do what they want to do in life. And so I think it's very, very important that we continue to highlight awesome personalities inside of our athletic program. We've seen that recently. Basketball and it's easier to do it in basketball, Ben, just because you don't have that many guys. I mean, also when the young men are competing, young ladies are competing, in basketball you see their faces. Softball for the most part you see their faces, except that time when they're at bat and have that the cage hat, hard hat, but you still can see their face. Football, I mean, there's folks that play on this team that if they didn't look like football players and they just walked in the mall, people wouldn't know who they were because you don't see their faces. And so it's a little bit easy to market sometimes the basketball players and because you see their face, but for Tennessee basketball, they've done an excellent job. We got the opportunity to really know Admiral Schofield during his time in Tennessee. We got a chance to really know Grant Williams and showcase those guys' personality. So Brandon Johnson is up next. The Slice. And so that's crazy. During his interview, he shared with everybody that not one time he played baseball. And his dad was a huge baseball player, was a great baseball player, was a famous baseball player. And one thing we do share in common is that he loved basketball, and basketball is his first love. But his dad, Charles Johnson, former Major League Baseball player, cousin is Chad Johnson, former NFL star, one of the best route runners in NFL history. But, his dad played baseball at Miami, played for the Montreal Expos, was dang good, winning Gold Glove awards and going to All-Star games, and then he won a title with the Florida Marlins. And I remember Gary Sheffield playing with the Florida Marlins, and I saw a tweet from you. You right, man. Gary Sheffield's swing is sweet. It was sweet, man. The way he would hold the bat, like he would hold it, just swing it back and forth like it was a toothpick, and then the ball came crack out. Yeah, beautiful swing. But Mr. Johnson, Charles Johnson, won a World Series with the Marlins, and being exposed to all of that. Not one time did he want to play baseball. I just find that fascinating.
Yeah. It's kind of growing up, you either want to do what your mom or dad did in their profession, or you want to do the complete opposite. And Brandon Johnson took the route of wanting to do the complete opposite. Which is rare, I guess. typically you see children following in the footsteps of their parents. Not in all cases, but it does, at least from my vantage point, seem to be that way. I did not realize how decorated Charles Johnson was. I knew he played in Major League Baseball for quite some time, but did not realize he was a 2-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove winner, hit nearly 200 career home runs, 1997 World Series champion. Pretty remarkable career. I didn't realize he was that decorated as a player.
I mean, I just think it's really, really cool, man. I actually think it's kind of weird. I mean, not one time to play baseball. I just think that's a little weird, but
that is weird.
It's still cool though, because at the end of the day, you have your own path as a young man. I mean, your parents can mold you, your guardians can mold you, and they'll teach you things that are important for you to know in life, on how to treat people and how to have a certain type of work ethic, and how to be able to get up after getting knocked down, because it's gonna happen. You're gonna get knocked down. You got to be able to get up and not give up. But at the end of the day, doesn't matter how privileged that you are, doesn't matter how much your parents put you in positions to be successful, doesn't matter how much is in the trust fund, doesn't matter, the job that you were basically given straight out of college without any internships or anything. At the end of the day, you still have your own path to walk. You have your own path. And Brandon Johnson is walking his own path, and he has one more year of college on that collegiate football path. And so we have spoke about the wide receiver group and kind of where he fits in, and he is the oldest out of the group. He's kind of like the old man out of the group. He's seen a lot here in the SEC, and I know he wants to kind of go out with a bang, but he won't be able to really do that without competing his butt off against a young up-and-coming talent in Ramel Keaton that can play his position and can play it well, who is hungry and starving to get more playing time in year two, than year one. So that's gonna be intriguing, man. I mean, I remember 2004 being on a squad where we had about 12 wide receivers, literally 12 wide receivers, and all of us could go anytime. Anytime. And it was like, remember the field days back in elementary school?
My favorite days.
When you do the team racing, and one person would run, and then you would come back and slap the hands of the guy second in line or the girl second in line, and then you would run and come back and slap the person that was third, slap their hands to signal for them to go. It felt like that playing wide receiver in 2004. It's like you just on the sideline in a stance ready to run in. The moment that a receiver said he was tired, he tapped his helmet, which you didn't really want to do, because if you come out, I don't know when you're gonna go back in. And then don't get me started on the red zone, because who wants to come out in the red zone? Because that's touchdown time, especially when you know a play is called and you know where the play is going for practice. It's like spotted wide banana. Oh, the Y's getting the banana on this play. The Y about to eat. The Y's about to get the banana. He gonna get the banana pudding on this play. I can't come out. You over there huffing and puffing. You can't breathe. You got slog coming down your mouth. I can't get out. The banana is coming. I got to get the banana pudding on this play. And so as I look at T. Martin, how he manages this wide receiver group, man, are you gonna rotate 8 to 10? Are you gonna go with a strong 4, strong 5? How the reps going to be distributed? That's kind of what I'm looking at. But it didn't have spring to really know that. But we will have fall.
Yeah, and I don't know that spring was very important for the guys who were already on campus, but in terms of going as deep as you were talking about, Swain, I think that is going to be up to the freshman receivers who weren't going to be at spring practice to begin with. How ready is Jalen Hyatt? How ready is D. Beckwith? How ready is Malachi Wideman? Is Jimmy Callaway? Is he ready to play as a freshman? I think those four. And how long does Jimmy Holiday last at the quarterback position? If Jimmy Holiday lasts a week and it's the second week of August and he's already at the wide receiver position, those are 5 freshman receivers right there. And then technically you are adding Miles Jones, the walk-on transfer from Nebraska. I don't expect him to play a ton, but that is 6 new options. So I think those 6 options will determine how deep they go and how ready they are to play from day one, personally.
One thing you better know, if you want that receiver room and you want that rotation to be tight, Brandon Johnson and D'Angelo Gibbs, you better be able to run like a gazelle, run for days. 865, 255-03. Let's go to the phones. And you said we got Logan. Logan is a first-time caller. So, Logan, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Swain. How's it going?
Good, man. How you doing, sir? Good morning.
I'm doing great. I'm blessed, man. I tell you what.
Awesome.
Hey, listen. I love your career here at Tennessee. I'm Knoxville born and bred. I bleed orange, all right? And with all the stuff that's happening right now throughout the entire country, I just wanted to ask a question that I thought would maybe brighten the day up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Neyland Stadium. So I wanted to know, out of all the moments you've been in Neyland Stadium, all the games you've played, watched, things of that nature, which game would you say is the loudest you've ever heard Neyland Stadium?
Wow, the loudest. I've been part of some loud games, but it's really hard to top the game where Tennessee, to this day, it's the largest attended game in Neyland Stadium history. It is the Florida game in 2004, 108,000. Standing room only, 108,000 fans. And that was loud. It was so loud you really couldn't hear yourself think. You couldn't hear yourself talk. It was electric. And so
I can imagine.
Yeah, that was a good one. 06 Cal was a really loud game. It's the first game of the season. So yeah, those 2 games really stand out to me as far as being the loudest. I've been a part of some stadiums on the away side at other people's stadiums where it was really loud too, but those probably are the 2 games that stand out the most, but for sure Florida 04 tops them all.
That's crazy. I remember watching that game with my family in my parents' bedroom. I was probably about 8 years old when that game was on. That's crazy.
Oh,
and,
thanks a lot for making me feel old.
that's not my intention. I'm just saying. But I remember very distinctly when we hit that field goal, I was so excited, I peed myself a little.
Yeah, Logan, that's right.
I did. I
Let
was
it rain.
so happy that we beat Florida, because that's the first time I can actually remember beating Florida, because I was so young. And it was the first time I remember, and then it was the last time until 2016. So, had to savor it while it lasted. But I think we can do it again this year. I'm excited, and I'm ready to go. I can't wait for these next 90-something days to get going by.
Well, I really appreciate your phone call, Logan, and please call back anytime. And I'll go Happy Madison on you and say, man, peeing in your pants is cool. I think I peed in my pants too a little bit. I think as soon as Will hit that field goal, I think I had a little bit of a drip. Drip, drip.
Do you want to know how old I was for that game?
I know you was peeing on yourself for sure.
No, I was not. I was very happy. I did not tinkle on myself.
You definitely was peeing on yourself, man.
I did not tinkle on myself at 9 years old.
Oh yeah, definitely. You probably peed in the bed. Nah. You probably had one of those dreams where you thought you were using the bathroom, but you really was asleep, and you was like, ah. And you wake up, you're like, oh no. Yep, you was peeing on yourself too, bitch. 9 years old. Guys, I don't want to hear how old you were when I was playing in Tennessee. Keep that to yourself.
I think that should be today's question on the Swain event. How old were you when Swain played football at the University of Tennessee?
No, don't
From 03 to 06.
Don't do that now. We got people who are, most of our listeners are older than me, so don't do that. And being the friend that I am, I never bring that stuff up around Joey Kent and Aaron Hayden. I don't bring that stuff up. I don't want to make them feel old. I don't bring that stuff up. And Aaron Hayden played like super early 90s.
Before I was born.
Yeah, so.
That Joey played when I was like 3.
You can't bring that stuff up, man. All right, we got
only to you, though.
We got to take a break. First break of the day here in the Swain event. Hour 1 is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Swain event fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
You're listening to the Swain event.
And you know this, man.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
Craving flavors that don't take hours in the kitchen? Mrs. Grissom's cheese spreads and chicken salads are the perfect go-to. Ready-to-eat meals and snacks found in the meat or dairy section at your local grocery store. Whether you crave the classic Mrs. Grissom's pimento cheese or the gluten-free select varieties like the cranberry pecan chicken salad, enjoy small-town flavor in every bite. Select the best. Select Mrs. Grissom's.
You're driving home, flashing blue lights in your rearview mirror. You pull over, step out of your car, and the next thing you know, you're being arrested for driving under the influence. Now what do? We all should be responsible. But remember, just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're guilty. Call criminal defense and DUI attorney Marcos Garza at 865-540-8300. The investigative teams at the Garza Law Firm know the justice system inside and out. They utilize cutting-edge technologies and investigative methods to prepare your specific case. Before you plead guilty to any criminal charges, call criminal defense and DUI attorney Marcos Garza. Put his number in your phone right now, 865-540-8300, because you never know when you or a friend will need it. Don't say guilty. Say Garza. 865-540-8300. 865-540-8300 and GarzaLaw.com.
Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. And guess what's hotter than Tennessee recruiting? That's right, the local real estate market. Things are still moving and shaking, so when you're ready to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, give me a call. Jennifer Morris at 865-257-7897 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. And go Vols!
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Eight 865-255-03 is our telephone number. TC from VA. I turned 19 in 2003. So I'm right there with you, Swaino. While you were balling out, Ben was still playing with Barbies. Oh, man. Fox Voss said I need to get hair plugs, or y'all need to get hair plugs like Brian Urlacher. Nah. 90s Vol yesterday said one funny story about Coach Fulmer. You know, you witnessed Coach Fulmer. We went on a field trip as a football team to watch UT practice. He was watching the O-line drills from the tower, and the O-lineman wasn't giving their best effort in the drill. He came down off the tower and made them redo it enough to earn their scholarship back. Savage. Oh, yeah, I've been a part of some practices where, you know, we have had to start a drill over. That has happened. Start it over. I have been part of a practice where you've had to start over warm-ups. You didn't have the right energy. You're supposed to be clapping, counting during the jumping jacks. Oh, start it over. Start it all over. Let's go. Start it all over. I've been part of those before, for sure. Been part of practice where you have to start the whole drill over. You've been like 7 minutes into a drill, and the period is 8 minutes long. And I've been a part of a practice where you start the drill all over. You start that period all over. Yep. You're going to have bad days on the football field. It's pretty normal. You just can't have consecutive bad days. You're going to have a bad period. You just can't have consecutive bad periods. You got to be able to you got to be able to snap and clear. Ugh.
I've heard that before.
That's true. All right, let's get back to the phones. Let's bring in Steve in Georgia. Steve, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Swain. Just had a real quick question. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to what's going on with if they're letting the kids in school, not letting the kids in school. But to say that there's 90 days left and then we're going to be playing football is number one, is that reasonable? And number two, isn't that going to kind of, I don't know, maybe conditioning, didn't have spring, implementing any kind of new playbook. And, and just please tell me that this is really going to help Georgia because they're trying to rebuild an offense. And you have a great day, Swain.
Hey, thank you, Steve. I hope that our guys are not too far behind conditioning-wise where it is an issue. But here's a good thing about this situation for most college football teams. If you are a team that has another Power 5 team scheduled first, you're part of those big-time showcases like we saw last year with Auburn and Oregon. And, we've seen the Alabamas play the Florida States and the USCs to start the season. If you're part of those, then you don't have this luxury. But if you're Tennessee, and sorry, I hate to be mean to the little guys here, but if you're Tennessee and you're playing a game against how do I say it by being nice?
A Charlotte.
Okay, I guess that's nice.
A Furman. A Troy.
You're just trying to get a W, number one. Number two, you can use this game to condition. Like, you actually condition, like you have playing condition. You have this phrase called game shape. It doesn't matter how much you run during the summer. It doesn't matter how great of shape that you are in the summer without pads. But the moment you put on those pads, you start practicing, it's a different type of tired. It's a different level of fatigue. It's a different soreness. Work a muscle that you have not worked in a long time for 5 minutes, and then you wake up the next morning, What was the episode, Family Guy, when Peter was like,
my nigga, my back.
For like 5 minutes he was doing that. Do that like now, work a muscle that you have not worked before, and you'll be sore. You can be in shape. You can be in tip-top shape all summer long from running, but you do it in shorts. You do it in, T-shirt. But the first day of fall camp, the second day of fall camp, you're sore for different reasons because you're using different muscles. You have pads on. So it doesn't really matter how great a shape these guys come in. And I know it's not going to be the same as last year, but there's going to be a period where you have to get in what we call game shape. And this is the good thing about playing what Ben described is Charlotte.
Cupcake games.
You said it.
Easy dubs on the schedule.
And, I hate to say that because my guy Montario Hardesty is a receiver coach there at Charlotte, but it kind of is what it is. He know what it is.
even though we haven't had the best of luck over recent years.
I don't care.
With cupcake games.
It is what it is, and it be what it be. And Terrio
and it ain't what it ain't.
And Terrio know all about it. We said
Terrio know what it be.
Yeah, exactly. So you have an opportunity to kind of have a conditioning session during the game. I mean, that's one way to look at it. I wouldn't, if I'm Pruitt, talk about that before the game. I would publicly treat it like a normal game, but I would use this game really to try to condition. I would throw some deep balls as much as I can to receivers. I would really.
Would you keep your two deep in longer than you typically would for a cupcake game?
Yeah, actually,
to condition them more.
Yeah, actually, I would. Yep.
It's worth the potential risk for injury.
Yep. It's worth it. It's worth it, depending on a player's history. Now, I don't want to sit here and say, hey, if you're up 40 points, you still gonna have your ones out there. But I will say, you will play an extra series or two versus a typical year where we're pulling you guys out, as soon as possible. No, I'm talking about an extra series or two. I'm not talking about being up 40 and still playing your ones. No, I'm not talking about that. But I think it's something that you keep in mind when you are up is, we got to get in condition. And then the next game, you got another cupcake game, and then you got to go play Oklahoma, right? No, you got to play Oklahoma in the second game.
One cupcake game.
Yeah,
it's Charlotte.
Yeah, and then Oklahoma,
then Furman.
Yeah, you got to play Oklahoma second. So you want to do a little bit of both in the first game, and then in the third game, you got to think about it. You're going to be a different level of sore after the Oklahoma game. So how do you bounce back from that Sunday when you wake up after battling with Oklahoma, who's going to be as big and strong as you, and then you have a week to play against Furman, and then you go play at the Swamp. I mean, you play Florida here, and so. Yeah, I mean, if you're AJ Artist, you're Jeremy Pruitt, I think these are things that you are mapping out and you're trying to be very smart about, because you do have 6 weeks, which is enough time to be in condition. It's you can make some gains in the weight room. There's no doubt about it. But again, playing shape is different than just running with T-shirts and shorts on. Is what I'm trying to say. 865-200-5503. Thank you for the phone call, Steve. I really appreciate that. We got Around the SEC coming up here shortly. Woo! 33 minutes, man. We're doing pretty good so far.
Feels like it's been 3 minutes.
33 minutes.
Just B-Mac and J Swizzle and S Square just having fun on a Tuesday, on Turn Up Tuesday, on Taco Tuesday.
You ever get somebody a nickname and they're like, no, that's not it?
I don't give nicknames.
You just did.
It's a joke.
865-200-5503. Around the SEC is coming up.
I'm Vince Moore, wide receiver, VFL 1991, and you're listening to the Swain Event.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss stem cell treatment and PRP. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
That's right, Jason. We specialize in regenerative non-surgical orthopedics. So we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints by using ultrasound-guided injections with stem cells or PRP. And this form of treatment actually stimulates the body's own reparative process and allows for healing of the damaged tissue.
So, Doc, what makes your training different than others?
Well, Jason, I've been practicing in Knoxville for 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. So unlike the big seminars that will advertise stem cells, fly someone in for a couple hours to talk about supposed stem cells that you order off of a shelf, then they'll depart, leaving the patient wondering who will be the person injecting me and what their level of training is. At Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own bone marrow stem cells or PRP. So in other words, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, trsportsmedicine.com. East Tennessee's leader in PRP and stem cell therapy. When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to ofonox.com. That's ofonox.com. Guys, Low T Center is open for normal business hours, including Saturdays. Their goal is to help you be the best and healthiest version of you. And right now, if you are concerned with social distancing, Low T Center can help with at-home treatment options for current patients. And they also have great options for new patients too. At Low T Center, they make it quick and easy to take care of your health. Most health insurance is accepted. They'll even help verify it for you. And just a reminder, if you're feeling bad, have a fever, or travel to high-risk areas, please stay home. If you'd like to learn more about getting a comprehensive health assessment, be sure to call 865-392-1388. That's 865-392-1388. Or you can schedule an appointment online at lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Around the SEC, powered by 42nd Street Marketing, your game-winning play call for design, marketing, and branding.
Man, that drum line. Cannot wait to hear that this fall. Wow. Makes you think about just the small things that kind of took for granted before. Just hearing this. Not even a song. Not even Rocky Top. Not even like just some basic drumming. Just basic drum line. Like, can't wait to hear this football season. Running the SEC. Ben McKee, what you got for us today?
Some sad news to share for a second straight day. Yesterday we talked about the Vanderbilt football coach who passed away over the weekend, and yesterday former Auburn football coach and athletic director Pat Dye, who was hospitalized last month for kidney-related issues, died on Monday. He was 80 years old. He died at a hospice care facility in Auburn from complications of kidney and liver failure. Dye had tested positive for the coronavirus but was asymptomatic. His son, NFL agent Pat Dye Jr., told ESPN last month Dye guided the Tigers to a 99-39-4 record in 12 seasons from 1981 to 1992, winning at least a share of the SEC championship in 1983, 87, 88, and 89. His Auburn teams won at least 10 games in a season 4 times and bowl games 6 times. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2005. The same year, the playing field at Auburn's Jordan-Hare Stadium was named in his honor. He was a 3-time SEC Coach of the Year and the 1983 National Coach of the Year. He coached a Heisman Trophy winner in Bo Jackson in 1985, an Outland Trophy and Lombardi Award winner in Tracy Rocker in 1988, and 21 All-Americans, 71 All-SEC players, and 48 academic All-SEC players. And then after coaching at Auburn, he served as Auburn's athletic director from 81 to 91. He also coached at ECU from 74 to 79, Wyoming in 1980, and had a 153 to 62 and 5 record in 19 seasons overall. So, thoughts and prayers to the Auburn family. I know that is a big loss for those down on the plains. Pat Dye had a huge impact on Auburn football and Auburn athletics.
SEC legend. I mean, there's not much more I can say than what you've already said, but just SEC legend. You know, it's like when we lost our beloved John Ward, and it just hit all of us in our hearts. And you know, you think about all of the magical moments that John Ward gave us as an announcer, and kind of where you were in certain games where he called some of his finest games. You think about that moment in time as you were a youngster, or where you were, whatever. And I know Auburn fans are probably thinking the same thing about, you know, Pat Dye, thinking about some of the games that he coached, some of the things that, you know, that he said that resonated with Auburn fans to this day. And so not just an Auburn football loss, but a college football loss, SEC loss, and like you mentioned, just thoughts and prayers and positive vibes and warm wishes and every positive thing that you can say and do to show gratitude and sympathy and empathy over there on the plain. So big loss there at Vanderbilt and in Auburn in the last 2 days that we mentioned here on around the SEC. What else you got?
Remember the Ole Miss corner that entered the Mississippi State corner that entered the transfer portal 2 weeks later, announced that he was transferring to Ole Miss. Remember him? Jerry Jones?
Mm-hmm.
He tweeted out a graphic yesterday at 9:34 a.m. as we were finishing the show up, and it was an edit, Swain, and it was not an edit of him in an Ole Miss uniform. It was an edit of him in a Florida State uniform saying that he was committed to Florida State. So Jerry Jones, the former Mississippi State corner who was thought to be a key piece in Mississippi State's secondary this upcoming season, entered the transfer portal. A week to 2 weeks later, announced that he was transferring to Ole Miss. And a week after announcing his intentions to transfer to Ole Miss, he is headed to Florida State.
You know what? I really can't
play for Mike Norvell.
I can't even blame him, man. I can't blame him.
Play for Florida State?
No, I mean, not even just the selections, but just I can't blame him for kind of the process here, because it's not like you can go and just visit places and get a feel during this time. So, you know, I made some jokes about, you know, some of our commits, you know, when asked about why they picked Tennessee, and they just was like, you know, I just, you know, I don't know. I mean, because it's tough. Normally, you're supposed to go and spend time on the campus, and you're supposed to, you know, visit the facilities and experience it firsthand, and you just couldn't during these times. And so, you know, I don't blame that young man for, you know, picking Ole Miss and then changing his mind. But that's you talking about weird. You know, Brandon Kennedy went from Alabama to Tennessee, and I can understand what happened with Brandon Kennedy. That kind of makes sense. I mean, you had an assistant coach go from Alabama to Tennessee, and you know, you wasn't going to play at Alabama, and Tennessee had a perfect place for you. It was a perfect opportunity for you. New beginnings. Like, I get that. And it's not like the Tennessee-Alabama rivalry has been that interesting anyways. It's been lopsided. Alabama has beaten Tennessee since 2006. But going from Mississippi State to Ole Miss, where it's been more back and forth. Coaches have been fired in recent years for losing that game. I mean, that was bold. That was a bold move for that young man going to Mississippi State and then about to go to Ole Miss, man. I didn't think he was going to be able to pull that off, and maybe he thought about it, or maybe he just decided, Florida State was where he wanted to go outside of those reasons, purely just extra those reasons. But, man, I just couldn't wrap my head around someone being able to transfer from Mississippi State to Ole Miss. That is a heated rivalry where there is more back and forth.
It is. I did want to share a big college football nugget that dropped yesterday, and that is that Clemson wide receiver Justin Ross will miss the 2020 season, and his career could be in jeopardy after he was diagnosed with what Coach Dabo Swinney called a congenital fusion in his spine. Ross suffered what the team thought was a stinger during a scrimmage in the final practice session before the coronavirus pandemic ended spring workouts. The next day, team doctor said x-rays revealed the issue, which Swinney said Ross has had since birth without being aware of it. According to Swinney, Ross will fly to Pittsburgh on Thursday and undergo surgery on Friday with a leading neuroscientist, which will perform the surgery. Swinney said Ross is in good spirits and is fine physically, but the injury is a significant concern if he were to play football. Swinney said that he feels perfectly fine, but doctors know he's at risk. So this is a huge loss for Clemson and for college football. I mean, Justin Ross, not only was he going to be Trevor Lawrence's leading receiver this year, but he was going to be one of the first receivers drafted in the upcoming 2021 NFL draft. I just really hate it for him.
I mean, he's another basketball first guy that, you look at being 6'4", those guys are a dime a dozen. I mean, unless you have some serious ball handles and you can play point guard, you can fill it up on the perimeter. I mean, 6'4", I mean, you can just find those type of basketball players anywhere. And so he was a basketball first guy right there from, I want to say, Phoenix City, and did not go to Alabama, which I love me some Justin Ross for that reason right there. And then just burst on the scene as a true freshman, just had some ESPN top 10 moments there in championship game against Alabama on some of his acrobatic catches. To be in this point where you probably didn't want to play football at the beginning, but you knew it was a better chance for you to play professionally than basketball, to be in this position, my heart really hurts for him because it's going to cost him. It's going to cost him some money whenever he plays again, unless, he can get several independent doctors and several people to sign off on him being 100% healthy and not at risk at all. I mean, there's going to be a risk from what I've heard from you today. But, that year off, he's going to be able to reflect and kind of see the game differently. It's going to make him a better student of the game for sure. But I just hate it because when he comes back, he's going to come back and Trevor Lawrence is going to be gone. And he'll be returning with a brand-new quarterback. And I know I'm talking about maybe what doesn't matter, but I am thinking long-term for him on the football field, and I hope he gets back on it sooner than later. But, yeah, that I saw that. I heard that. Digging for the smallest of sports nuggets on social media yesterday. It's not been the easiest to find sports right now on social media, and I'm not complaining. I'm glad that people are having this conversation. I'm glad that people are being exposed. I'm glad that we have our white counterparts stepping up and saying enough is enough and ready to lock arms with those that have been protesting and speaking their mind and pointing out the injustices. I'm glad people are locking arms, and so I'm not complaining about the coverage and what I'm seeing on social media. For the most part, I can always pick out the bad things and the good things, but difficult to find sports on social media during show prep. But yeah, I did see that. I know Dabo gave a press conference. I did a press conference yesterday and said some things, and that's one of the things that he mentioned was the status of one of his best players.
You know who the number one wide receiver is all of a sudden in Clemson's wide receiver room now?
Ben, it's the first thing I thought about.
It was the first thing I thought about as well.
and it's not that you're not, concerned for Justin Ross. It's not.
No,
that
it's just
it's not empathetic, but it's like
personal ties.
Yeah, we don't know you like that.
Yes,
we know Amari.
We want T. Martin's son to do well.
Yeah, like Amari is who I root for when Clemson is playing. I'm not rooting for anybody else. And I root for T. Higgins when he was on the squad, but I'm Team Amari. I don't see a jersey color. I see Amari. I see Rodgers on the back of his jersey, and I'm so disappointed in myself that he's about to be a senior and I have not been to a game.
And you probably won't be able to go to a game this year.
I'm so disappointed in myself, and that's all right. He'll be a rookie in the league, and I'll have to go to one of his professional games. But yeah, and I remember when we trained and he went off to Clemson, and we felt like he was prepared. And he got raving reviews from the coaching staff about how prepared he was as a true freshman. That made me feel good right there. That I was a part of just helping him prepare, giving him kind of the cheat code. And I'm so disappointed in myself that I've let 3 years go by and I have not been to a Clemson game. But I'll be at a professional football game.
Maybe you can be one of the 25% at one this year.
I don't know. Maybe he'll be a Steeler, Ben.
I hope so.
And I can go up to a Steelers game and check him out. I don't know.
We need a slot receiver. I'm tired of watching Ryan Switzer, the king of juking and jiving and going backwards and forward and only picking up 1 yard. It drives me crazy. I'm tired of Ryan Switzer. Can we please get another slot receiver? Now, they like putting Juju in the slot, but can we get a true slot receiver, please?
Oh, man.
I saw a highlight from Amari the other day, his big performance against Syracuse this past season, and his touchdown that he took like 70 to 80 yards to the house on a screenplay.
I know.
I don't remember where I saw that.
Yeah,
but I did.
Man. With that knee brace on, I don't even know how you can walk in that thing, let alone play wide receiver. Wow, he was moving. Yeah, man. I'm so proud of him. Vol on the street on the text box says, "Morning, guys. With other transfers getting cleared for play this year, is it time to start the free K chant yet?" No, I don't think we need to do that just yet. Not yet. I remember we did that with Uros, and we got all hot at Bobby Hurley and their AD, and what a mess over there at Arizona State.
Ooh-wee.
Remember the Arizona State AD? Had all these comments out of nowhere about Coach Fulmer taking over as AD.
Mm-hmm.
Who is talking to you?
Especially now.
What? You at Arizona State. What part of Tennessee making a change during the coaching search have anything to do with you? Oh, that's because John Curry probably is your boy. But he had some things to say about Tennessee and how they conducted business. And he has a coach, a basketball coach that is not happy, even though publicly he said that they're on good terms and everything's good and they have a good relationship. But essentially, you had a major booster there at Arizona State get a little touchy-feely with people's wives around there, including Bobby Hurley's wife, and the AD just has not handled it properly. And Bobby Hurley's in an email to him basically called him out. And so that email, is public information. and that email was kind of released and shared, and whew, you better mow your own grass over there, Arizona State AD. I will say he did a really good job bringing in Herm Edwards, though. Probably the hire of the year that year in college football to bring Herman Edwards in because he's been awesome. Anyways, it's not
Love
time.
me some Herm Edwards.
Yeah, I do too. It's not time to chant free Cade. I think he's gonna be okay, man. He has Tom Mars representing him, and I don't think Tom Mars has lost a case as far as getting his client eligible, getting him that transfer waiver. So, I mean, my goodness, somebody lost a finger. The least that we can do is allow Cade to play this year. Brad says, Georgia swapped with Missouri on our schedule this year. What game would you like to see being played later in the season? For me, it is Florida. I think that's a good game. To play later on in the season. The problem is Florida plays Florida State later in the season. So they have their big rivalry game later in the season. Everybody except us has a big rivalry game at the end of the season. Like, I feel so alone and naked and abandoned during rivalry week, Ben. Like, I feel left out.
Yeah, I
feel left out.
I do too, but there's two sides to this. Yes, it would be nice to be a true participant in rivalry week and play a Florida, a Georgia, an Alabama, one of those schools the last week of the season. But also, it also works to Tennessee's favor if Tennessee is in a position to make it to a playoff if Alabama and Auburn are playing, if Florida and Florida State are playing, and all these other rivalry games.
Playoffs?
And here Ohio State playing Michigan, and here Tennessee is playing Vanderbilt. Like, that is Tennessee's advantage. That is an absolute advantage that, if given the circumstance, Tennessee can take advantage of. And really for the month of November, at least it was that way before Georgia moved to the back end of the schedule and Missouri moved to the front end of the schedule. So would you rather have an easy month of November if you're entering the month of November undefeated and you're looking at an SEC championship or the playoffs? Would you rather have an easy month of November or a Florida before you're entering those phases of the schedule?
Man, I kind of want that challenge late in the season, man. I don't want to go into the SEC championship game all rusty like we did in 2001, and I got more to say on that, and I'm with Volstorm, who said I want to play Florida in the cold. Yeah, I want those dreadhead Florida boys to come up here when it's 20 degrees. That's what I want. Yeah, I want to see those dreads in a toboggan because it's so cold. That's what I want to see. Or a beanie, whatever you prefer. Excuse me. Hour 2 is coming up here on the Swain event. Stay with us.
You're driving home, flashing blue lights in your rearview mirror. The next thing you know, you're being arrested for DUI. Be responsible, but remember, just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're guilty. Call DUI and criminal defense attorney Marcos Garza. Put this number in your phone right now, 865-540-8300, because you never know when you or a friend will need it. Don't say guilty, say Garza. 865-540-8300 and GarzaLaw.com.
When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to ofonox.com. That's ofonox.com.
All right, team, listen up. It's tailgating time again in Tennessee. But most importantly, team, you're going to need to refi that tailgate and the truck it's attached to with a refinanced auto loan with Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union with their Got That promotion. They'll give you up to $500 for your debt. Are you serious, Coach? That's right, Johnny. Alcoa 10 will pay you up to $500 for your debt. Now, let's get out there and spread the word. Say it with me. Alcoa 10, Alcoa 10, Alcoa 10.
ATFCU is an equal housing lender.
Craving flavors that don't take hours in the kitchen? Mrs. Grissom's cheese spreads and chicken salads are the perfect go-to. Ready-to-eat meals and snacks found in the meat or dairy section at your local grocery store. Whether you crave the classic Mrs. Grissom's pimento cheese or the gluten-free select varieties like the cranberry pecan chicken salad, enjoy small-town flavor in every bite. Select the best. Select Mrs. Grissom's.
Touchdown or Turnover is backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong.
So I saw a video of Eric Gray running on a treadmill, and like it didn't even look real. It looked photoshopped. It looked like
an off-season tradition like no other.
Yeah, it looked like someone just impose some fake legs on Eric Gray because his legs move so fast. But you mentioned it. We've seen this so many times, where guys are posting videos of themselves running on the treadmill really fast. And what does that mean? Well, that means you're working on trying to get the top speed. You're working on those things. And it's funny, I'll share a story with you here, just a little bit about that, and one of the best running backs to do that in the last 25 years. But touchdown turnover is backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, and it is about Eric Gray. He was clocked at 29.9 miles per hour on the treadmill, 30 miles per hour. So you basically take a guy who, if it was 8 a.m. on a normal school day, he would be running faster than the cars in the school zone. Basically. That's how fast he was running. Touchdown turnover with Tim Jordan getting in trouble. Seeing this from Eric Gray, are you more confident that he will rush for 1,000 yards or more this football season? Touchdown turnover.
Turnover.
My
Weight
goodness.
room numbers don't move the needle for me in terms of production on the football field.
Excuse me? Say that again?
Weight room numbers don't move the needle for me on potential production on the football field. I mean, if anything, it just solidifies what we already know about Eric Gray. He doesn't really move my thought process on his production this season up and down. What would move the needle in a positive direction on being more confident in Eric Gray rushing for 1,000 yards is Cade Mays becoming eligible. Is Trey Smith staying healthy throughout fall camp? Brandon Kennedy staying healthy throughout fall camp? Wanye Morris coming back from his hip surgery completely healthy? Darnell Wright taking that next step as a sophomore and really developing into one of the better right tackles in the SEC. Solidifying the depth with Jerome Carvin and Kayron Calvert and Jameer Johnson and Riley Locklear. That's kind of what moves the needle for me, because I know how talented Eric Gray is. I know how athletic Eric Gray is. I know how quick or fast or whatever adjective you want to use is. I don't need seeing him run that fast on a treadmill to to solidify that for me. I already know he's fast. So I say turnover. It does not move the needle for me.
Yeah, I'm going touchdown. I think Tim Jordan getting in trouble. I think that's less confidence and trust that you have in your senior running back. If you are Jay Graham, I think that is significant. And then I would say running 30 miles per hour on the treadmill and working on that's not something that he was probably able to do this time last year. That's something that you work on. He's already gifted with a ton of God-given ability, but this is something that you work on. Being able to hit home runs is something that you work on. Taking the distance is something that you work on. It's just not something you wake up and do. You can do it in high school, but at this level, it's something that you really have to put time into to improve at. And so, I was talking to my good friend Jonathan Wade a couple days ago, actually, and he was telling me about his time in Miami. And when he was at Miami, the running back there was Reggie Bush, who was kind of at the end of I won't say the end, but it was post-Saints. So anything post-Saints, I guess we could say is the end, but it was post-Saints, and he was electric there with the Saints. And when you think about Reggie Bush's time at USC, and you can go back and look at the highlights if you don't remember kind of some of his runs, but I remember his runs, him cutting on the dime, him making guys miss. But I remember the long runs and how he never ran out of gas. And Jonathan Wade was sharing with me, it didn't matter what part of practice it was, that Reggie Bush would always run to the end zone. He may not be in a full sprint, but he would always stride out to the end zone, always. So if you're on the opposite 20, he would stride out 80 yards. Like he would burst through the line, sprint 20, and then stride the rest. Like he would do that every single time. Because if you never work on it, how you expect to do it in the games? Eric Gray is working on what he wants to do more of, which was what he did in the Vanderbilt game, but he's working on that, doing it on the treadmill. Because once you burst through the line, it's easy to start slowing down. Some guys don't have that extra gear. I love this player. This is my guy. He knows it's true. Cedric Houston didn't have that gear. He had great vision. He was able to one cut better than a lot of running backs that I've seen in Tennessee. He had that one cut. But that third gear, that's something that Jared Riggs did a little bit better. That third gear is what we saw from Marcus Coker in the 2006 game against Cal. The third gear is what DeAndre Swift has, what Jonathan Taylor has, and those were the two backs that went pretty high in this draft. Wasn't the first back, but they were top 3 backs in this NFL draft. That's what Eric Gray's working on. That third gear, turning it on, and not throttling down. I know you mentioned, a weight room exercise is not going to move the needle for you. For me, this is not like a normal weight room exercise. If he had a bench press of 350 pounds, okay. What that does, hey man, you're able to move the pile, goal line. Man, you're able to run through some tackles, cool, whatever. And that's significant, but it may not move the needle for me. Or your ability to squat a bunch of weight. You hit a max or something like that. You're able to squat a bunch of weight. Cool. All right. This is different though. Like this is at a whole nother level for me. And so I'm saying touchdown. I think the fact that Tim Jordan and he's showing the ability to get up to these speeds, I think it's the reason why he goes for 1,000 yards. I understand you got to have the blocking. And blocking is important too for sure. But I'm going touchdown, man. I think he gets it. I think he gets 1,000 yards.
I don't want it to come off as me not thinking what he accomplished in that video was not impressive, because it absolutely was. I already have high expectations for Eric Gray and think that he was going to meet those expectations as it was. So
Is it 1,000
I
yards?
guess if anything, that video just kind of put the cherry on top.
Is it 1,000 yards?
Yeah, I already thought he was going to be a 1,000-yard rusher.
So you just don't think that video or the news of Tim Jordan is the reason why he's going to get over 1,000? You just think he's going to get it already anyways?
Yeah, I thought he was at least close to being there beforehand. But Tim Jordan being in trouble and a new running backs coach, maybe not being able to trust him as much as he anticipated, that definitely helps. And as you illustrated, clearly he has been working on his ability to change into that second and third gear and break away from a defense. I mean, that definitely helps. But I kind of already had those high expectations for Eric Gray.
Yeah, I didn't know that this part of his game. I didn't know he had this part of his game, and we won't know until actually the games are played. But he's working on being a complete back. He's a dang good back with the ball in his hands to be able to cut, make guys miss. But being the complete back is what he is striving to be, and that means blocking. That means being able to be patient, slow to the hole, fast through it, being able to catch out of the backfield, and then when you do get a crease, running through tackles. You know, he has to do a better job of running through tackles, and you do that with, balance and being strong. And, you see the weird video of Alvin Kamara working on his balancing there. That's all part of being a complete back. So that's what Eric Gray is doing. Let me get to the phones before we lose our caller. Who we got there? Let me check our sophisticated communication system from the producer to the host, which is text message. DR Vol, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I'm all about this preseason hype. You got Eric Gray running almost 30 miles an hour. All I need now is video JG perfecting the uncalled for QB sneak, and I'm all in on Ballstorm's 11-1 from last year.
Oh man, I'm not buying into any hype right now. I'm not doing it. You're not gonna suck me in,
that
DR
video,
Vol.
man.
You're not
they
sucking
release
me
that
in.
video. Vol Nation will be at your studio in the train.
Oh, I know, man. I know. But those treadmill drills, man, those are important. They're not just for show. They're not just those really don't apply to the game. I mean, those don't carry over to the game. No, it carries over now. It carries over because sometimes you're used to kind of throttling down after you catch a ball or after you break the line of scrimmage, and mentally and physically you're just preparing yourself to not slow down, to actually turn it up a gear, hit that next gear, and that's something that you got to work on. So we may see kind of the fruits of his labor this season.
I'm not big on like conditioning workouts, but I do like watching the treadmill drill, because to me that's just amazing. Because I work in imaging and healthcare, and usually when we got some treadmill, it's inducing a heart attack. And watching stuff like that, man, it's amazing to me.
It's just like I like these videos to a certain extent. Sometimes I'm like, yo, just work, just work. But I like to see the athleticism displayed, like how freak of an athlete we really have in college football. Like seeing linemen jump out of a pool flat-footed. That's crazy. I can't even jump out the bathtub like that. And these guys are jumping out of 3-4 foot water at 300 pounds. I mean, it's just amazing to kind of see their athleticism on display.
Yeah, I agree. So my question is, with Tim Jordan get arrested, does that affect where Banks is going to be in the fall, or is the running back room so full and the big need at linebacker that that's not going to really change anything if Jordan
Banks?
doesn't play? Yeah.
Banks gonna play linebacker. He playing defense.
Okay. I didn't know if they'd still make him a hybrid or what.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I think Banks is linebacker all the way. I mean, he's not even on the team right now. So before he was dismissed, I mean, he was working on defense. So again, you just can't keep confusing these guys and having them play offense and defense and learning all these different plays on both sides of the ball. He needs to be in one position and master that position and perfect that position. I mean, he only has 3 years to play. He don't have that long, and so it may seem like a long time, but it's really not. So, I think defense is where he needs to play. I think being paired up with Brian Niedermeyer is a perfect fit. But I think defense is where he's going to be. I don't think he's going to go back to offense.
I got you. I just wondered if that would. So, well, guys, I'm about to head into work. Swain, I read Fox Falls Thread, man. You're a good dude. I really like people that's anti-clout, and it's a rarity these days. So that's why I always try to defend you against Sab on the message board.
Oh, thanks, man. I didn't know I was being talked about on the message boards, man. I ain't been on there in so long.
Hey, Sab's a keyboard warrior, man.
I appreciate it, man. Now Foxball has been awesome, man. He's been really awesome during this time, and it's crazy because like I was there for him when he was hurting at one of his lowest moments, and right now like he's checking on me like all day. Like yesterday he was checking on me like crazy, and this has been tough. It's been tough the last couple of days, and he's been checking on me. To the point where I'm like, Foxball, I'm good, man. I'm okay. I'm okay, man. But I appreciate Foxball. And listen, we were prepared. I think mentally and emotionally, when we put out the video, Brad Lampley, Joey Kent, Aaron Hayden, Tom Hutton, Trey Teague, myself, we put that video out, and if I didn't feel pure about it, if I didn't feel good about it, I would have said, no, I don't want it out. But I felt like everyone spoke from their heart, and it was organic, it was pure. Even when you are doing everything from a good place in your heart, you're going to have people that try to detract, try to confuse, try to distract, try to minimize what you feel, what you're doing, and that's just part of it. That's just part of it. A lot of folks didn't agree with Dr. Martin Luther King when he was alive and doing what he was doing. Most people disapproved of what he was doing. So it's part of it. Cool. It's like having haters, right? It's good to have haters. I mean, you're doing something right. So I appreciate Fox Vol for having our back. We're just trying to be a part of the solution. And you really can't be in the middle. You're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. Simple as that. There's no middle. And yeah, you got to pick a side. Like, we're in a moment, you got to pick a side. It ain't political side, it ain't race side, it's right or wrong. Like, you got to pick a side now. You got to pick a side. Part of the solution, part of the problem. You want to be on the right side or you want to be on the wrong side. This is about right and wrong. Simple as that. We don't know who that is. Oh, okay. Let's figure out who it is then. Hello. Welcome to the show. Who we got there?
Mocha Jones.
Mocha Jones. Sorry, our lovely producer could not hear.
I'm driving, or was driving, in the work in.
Mocha Jones, good morning, sir.
Good morning. I listen to the podcast, so I don't mainly get to listen live. And listening to the show yesterday, I had to call in.
Okay.
I sent you a picture on Instagram. I don't know if you got it, but Sunday, me and my best friend, we actually in our small town of Western Kentucky, we walked with a large group of people for what has gone on recently, and I'm black, he's white, and in the picture there's a cop, and that cop is one of our brothers in Christ. We go to church with them. And I normally don't call, especially about things like this, but it can happen. It can be done, all this stuff. And listen to what you and what you did over the weekend with the video has me and my best friend doing that same thing today online.
Awesome.
Just opening up a conversation.
Awesome.
Because that needs to happen.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that to you.
Thank you, man. Thank you for sharing that. This has been tough because, like, I'm in this kind of the same position as you. I have friends who are police officers. We have family friends who are police officers. There are VFLs right here in Knoxville who are police officers. And so it's tough. It's really tough because the actions of a few, and it is a systematic problem, but the actions of few have made the good guys targets now, targets of retaliation. And so, I pray for our good police officers. I really, really do. I even pray for the bad ones so that their hearts can change. But, like, it's not a us versus police officers. It's just good versus bad. And, again, we have people that we know that may know someone, or we may know them, firsthand that serve as police officers. So, man, this is not easy for any of us. I'm with you, Mocha.
All right. I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you.
Let's enjoy this podcast at least.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I really appreciate you getting out of your comfort zone and just speaking with your heart, leading with your heart, man. I know it's something you don't call in and talk about, but you felt compelled to do it. Thank you. Yeah. Right. Have a good one, man. Chip Payne on the text box said, are you worried that we will see a lot of fatigue and injuries this year due to the shortness of spring and summer practice? Am I worried? No, because I just expect other teams to face the same problem. I feel like if it is pouring down rain, well, guess what? Both teams have to deal with it. If the clock malfunctions, if one side's electronics in their headset fails to work, well, guess what? You have to cut off everybody's. And that's how I feel about the situation that we're in. We're in the same situation as everybody else. I just feel like we do have some advantages because of experience, but I think everybody's going to be tired a little bit. I think everyone's going to be more susceptible to injury. I think it's going to happen. I just hope that it's not, key players at the worst time. Like, if someone gets hurt, let it be a small injury and maybe in a series of games where it doesn't hurt. Like, hey, if you don't get hurt in the first game, and maybe you don't have to practice it the second week, but you still could play, something like that. I just hope that it's not a significant injury at the worst time.
I'm more concerned about strength than I am fatigue in regards to the first aspect of Chip Payne's question. He asked about fatigue and injuries. Obviously concerned about injuries because players haven't gone through their typical offseason, but I'm more concerned about strength than I am fatigue when being a little more nuanced about it, just because I feel as if it's been easy to keep up with conditioning during these times, just because you can go out and run as much as you want. That is the one thing that every single Tennessee football player, every single Tennessee athlete, every athlete in the country can do. They can go run every single day as much as they want. So theoretically, they should be conditioned in that sense. I'm worried about the strength aspect and injuries resulting as a lack of strength.
See, I'm the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, because you can go do push-ups and get stronger.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do those things. I worry about the fatigue because the fatigue not only opens you up to injury, but it opens you up to something even more important than that, and that is mental mistakes. When you're tired, that's when you don't line up right. When you're tired, that's when you don't finish a block. When you're tired, you forget your responsibility. You're supposed to go inside release, but you went outside release when you're tired. And so when you're in shape, you're mentally sharper. That's what I have found. And so I think everyone's battling the same thing. You know, everyone's been at home. So if our strength level is suffering, well, I'm imagining everybody else's strength level will suffer somewhat too, because everyone's not going to have access to a weight room. But like, if you're sharp mentally, because you're not tired, you know, if you're sharp mentally, you're going to take the right step. And if you have the right leverage over someone that's stronger than you, guess what? You're going to win. You're going to win that rep. You're going to win. I don't care if someone is faster than you, but if you are mentally in better condition and you're more sound in your fundamentals, you're going to beat that person who is faster than you that's in front of you, or that is stronger than you that's in front of you. You're going to beat them. So for me, like, the most concerning thing from, you know, strength or fatigue, man, it's fatigue, man. Because what's the number one game maxim? The team that makes the fewest mistakes will win. And mistakes come from when you get tired. So I'm going fatigue. That's me. I'm going fatigue, man. Going fatigue. Get out there and run. Just run like Forrest. Just run till you got a beard. Whatever. Just go do it. Mistakes come from when you get tired. And guess what, man? Injuries happen too. Also when you get tired. You're right too, Ben, that injuries occur when you're not strong enough. You know, a part of working out and training, number one, is to experience those gains, to get stronger, right? But another reason why you lift weights during the season, it's not necessarily to get those gains. You're not going to go from a 350 bench to a 375 bench in season unless you're like redshirting or something. But the reason why we continue to lift weights during the season is to prevent injury and so that you don't lose strength. So lifting during the season is all preventative. But the fatigue factor, I think, is more significant. That's just me. Let's get back to the phones. Let's get to Tony in Kingsport. Tony, good morning.
Good morning, Swain. Good morning, Ben. I hope you guys are doing well today.
Well, my friend. Hope you are too.
Thank you, sir. First off, I got a couple of things. But first off, I just want to say thank you for your show. I lived in Arizona and moved back 4 years ago, actually around this time. I moved back here to Tennessee. And I didn't even know your show existed until I moved back, and my cousin actually brought me on to it. And now you're part of, like, my daily regimen of 7 to 10. I get up at 6:30, and I get my stuff situated, and then 7 to 10, I'll listen to you while I work. And I thank you for the platform that you brought to all of us, being able to talk, share our stories, share our love of Tennessee football and Tennessee sports in general. And thank you so much, because it's really been an inspiration, especially in the times that we're in now, to be able to have the platform where we can talk as a family and share with each other. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you, Tony.
Back to the conditioning that you were just talking about, do you think that, given the direction that Tennessee's headed, a lot of these guys that are practicing now, a lot of them don't post on social media or anything. They just do what they do and just move along. Do you think that they have found ways around doing the lockout? Like maybe they've gone to their old high school and been able to have access to the gym there. They have their own workout section at home. How do you think that, knowing how Tennessee is progressing and knowing the previous strength and conditioning coaches, their usual format, have kept into that same pattern, even during all this the pandemic and everything.
Oh, good stuff, Tony. Good question. Craig Fitzgerald recommended AJ Artis. AJ Artis is pretty much doing everything the same as Craig Fitzgerald is kind of what I've heard, and you can see what he's telling the players to do. I mean, they post the videos every single day, but a lot of explosiveness. I think flexibility is very, very important. That's something that we didn't touch on. We were talking about fatigue and strength, but flexibility is just as important as gains when it comes to preventing injury. Flexibility could be the reason why you simply sprain your ankle or sprain your knee to breaking your ankle or tearing your ACL or MCL. So flexibility is very, 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 very important, and that is something that guys can do at the house. They know how to stretch. They know the best time to stretch, which is fresh out of a hot shower. They know this, and so stretching is very, very important. It's not always about bench press, squat, and power cleans. Like everyone's, those are the sexy lifts. Those are the lifts that you see on TV. Those are the lifts you see posted on social media. But balancing is important. Flexibility is very, very important. You don't see anybody posting videos of them doing yoga because it's not cool, but it's important. Flexibility is very, very important. And so I think our strength coaches understand that because all three of them played. All three of them played at college level, either in the SEC, Big Ten, and I don't know what AJ Artis played. I think was it Campbell? Campbell College, and they were the Campbells, right?
The Fighting Camels.
The Fighting Camels, that's right. And he played like receiver, tight end, growing up. So like flexibility is super, super important. Tony, you asked another question. What was the other one?
Oh, I hadn't asked the other question. That was just basically the two.
Okay.
2 points. All I know is that I'm coming down to Dead End at some point.
Let's go.
And I got a week off in a couple of weeks. I'm coming down to Dead End, and I don't care if I have to stay out in the park and eat that food. I am going to eat it.
Well, you let me know, man. You let me know when you get there, man. I'll come by and give you an elbow bump.
That sounds good, brother. Thank you so much for everything you guys do.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate your phone call, man. Thanks for your kind words, too. Let's get to Vol Nation. Vol Nation, good morning.
Morning, family. How y'all doing, man?
What's up?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Listening to the show. You guys have been, like I said, just on point, man. I know it's been difficult with everything that's been going on, but again, like you mentioned the other day, how, to take your mind off of things, having sports and things, and that's what you guys do. You guys bring things back for us so we can kind of take our minds off of some of the things that's going on in the world and focus on family here, because that's what you guys are to me, and that's, I believe you guys are to so many people that listen, your family. And I really appreciate you guys and what you guys do and the effort that you put in on a daily basis, man.
Thank you, Vol Nation, man. No, thank you so much for that. That means the world to me, man. Your
no problem, man.
Your words, Fox Vols, Tony. It means a lot.
Speaking truth, man. Speaking truth.
Thank you.
Hey, I know you mentioned earlier the loss of Ross, and being in the South Carolina area, but as soon as the season ended last year, and of course LSU won. The first thing out of their mouth was, "Oh, well, we're still a little beat up from the Ohio State game," and but next year we're going to be back, and immediately they became the favorite to win, the title next year. That's what the media was talking about. That's what they were talking about, things of that nature, regardless of whether Ohio State was going to come back loaded or not. And so, since they've had the loss of Ross just since yesterday, you've heard a shift in the narrative on a lot of their programs that have, we don't really have, alpha dog on wide receivers, so it's going to really be interesting to see who steps up now. And then they start going through the rest of their position groups offensively and defensively, and just kind of took a step back and notch down, even though they're still trying to, of course, build Trevor up, and they're like, hey, this gives him an opportunity to go out there and prove himself, with lesser receivers or whatever. So one of my questions, I guess, for you is, with all the hype that's behind Trevor and Clemson, even though we are looking at Ohio State and what they're doing, who do you feel is right now in the driver's seat of winning the national championship for next year. And then on looking at Tennessee, we've got a lot of recruits that are kind of out there, that are looking at us still. I know they were still recruiting, and I didn't know how far above 25 can we go. You know what I'm saying? Because I realized that they could probably do some things, maybe gray shirt, blue shirt, some people if they hadn't been on campus or seen them face to face or whatever. I know there's a lot of stuff that they can kind of do to kind of keep people on the roster, but how far past 20 or 25 can we go? And then this is my personal perspective. Looking at this season and looking at how things go, I believe Tennessee could be 9-3, but I'm starting to lean toward 10-2, and I'm believing we can go on the road and beat Oklahoma, and I believe we'll come home and we can beat Florida. Now, Alabama may still be a task, and I think Georgia, being at the end of the year, may be a lot more difficult because I think we're on the road. But 9-3, potential 10-2, and I texted you a few minutes ago on Twitter. People are hitting me up periodically. And there's more and more people buying tickets for the hype train, man. More and more people buying tickets for the hype train. I'm just waiting for the seal of approval from Swain, to come on board. You know what I'm saying? Because that train is starting to pick up steam, man. We're putting on more steam, and we need our conductor on there, Swain. Leading the charge. I'm trying to hold things down right now. But I need you with me. I'm just waiting.
Vol Nation, after I go to practice a couple times at fall camp with my gloves and my checkerboard mask from Alumni Hall and my hand sanitizer, I need to go to practice. I need to go to every football practice. I need to sit in some meetings. I need to know how to feel about this quarterback room, and until I feel confident about the quarterback room, I can't give you a win total over 9. I don't feel comfortable doing that at all. I think Tennessee will get one of the big four. I think Tennessee can beat one of the big four, but I don't feel confident going past one win versus the big four until I see more consistent play at the quarterback position. And hopefully I see it. I want to see it, but I can't go with the predictions on that. But I can say I think the team who's like the favorite. It has to be Ohio State and the NFL talent that they continue to turn out, and you have Justin Fields who's special. They learn how to lose last year in key moments, and they had Clemson beat early. I think Justin Ross's absence is very significant. I think they still have alpha dog and Amari Rodgers, but they losing 2 outside threats. You lost T. Higgins to the league and then Justin Ross to injury. So that changes the dynamic. But I believe so much in Trevor Lawrence. Now I see why LSU was special. Yeah, they had talent, but the leadership in Joe Burrow, how he's able to kind of bring together a locker room, how he's handled himself over these last couple days. That's why when you have a locker room full of black players, they gravitate and follow a dude like Joe Burrow. Go look at Joe Burrow's stance. Go look at Trevor Lawrence's stance in the last couple days. Go look at Trevor Lawrence. I'm a young black player in the locker room. I'm going to battle with Trevor Lawrence. And so, my stock in Trevor Lawrence is so high, and I believe with that schedule they have, they'll be right there in the thick of things. But Ohio State's loaded in talent. Alabama's going to be in the mix. It's hard to really change up what we've seen the last couple of years, to be honest. We'll take a quick time out here on the Swain event. Hour 2 is brought to you by Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com. Get on by there. Locations here in Knoxville, 3 locations to serve you. Always able to serve you online at alumnihall.com. The Tennessee theme face masks, you can go get those right now. Be right back.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss stem cell treatment and PRP. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
That's right, Jason. We specialize in regenerative non-surgical orthopedics. So we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints by using ultrasound-guided injections with stem cells or PRP. And this form of treatment actually stimulates the body's own reparative process and allows for healing of the damaged tissue.
So, Doc, what makes your training different than others?
Well, Jason, I've been practicing in Knoxville for 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. So unlike the big seminars that will advertise stem cells, fly someone in for a couple hours to talk about supposed stem cells that you order off of a shelf, then they'll depart, leaving the patient wondering who will be the person injecting me and what their level of training is. At Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own bone marrow stem cells or PRP. So in other words, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, trsportsmedicine.com. East Tennessee's leader in PRP and stem cell therapy. While the players are gearing up for the gridiron, it's time for you to get geared up at Alumni Hall. Find the best selection of Nike, Nike Golf, Peter Millar, and all of those retro logos you love. And the 2 for $28 t-shirt deal? Game changer. And don't forget about the rest of your game day crew. There are plenty of options for the entire family and to upgrade that tailgate. Shop now at one of their 6 convenient locations in Tennessee or 24/7 at alumnihall.com. It's football time in Tennessee.
Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. And guess what's hotter than Tennessee recruiting? That's right, the local real estate market. Things are still moving and shaking, so when you're ready to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, give me a call. Jennifer Morris at 865-257-7897 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. And go Vols!
I just wanted to come by and congratulate you on the great work you've been doing.
I like your style. You remind me of a young me.
Failure is not an option.
That boy is good.
Hoes, remind yourself, nobody built like you. You design yourself.
Attaboy.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. And it is time for Attaboy here on the show where we highlight positivity. We usually do that in the first hour, but had a really good conversation. So here we are. We are here in the second hour with Attaboy. And there's not a lot of positive things to point to on the surface right now going on in the world. But I do want to highlight one thing that's kind of on my heart and on my mind from what I have seen over the last 24 hours since we did the show yesterday. And when you have two sides that you have one side that wants change. You have protesters that want change and they're marching, and you have a line of police officers and they're there to make sure there's order. And we've seen some officers get out of line for sure. Another unarmed black man in Louisville was shot and killed. I think to have progress, somebody has to move a little bit. Somebody has to be willing to, because everyone wants to hold their stance. I'm not backing up. I'm not gonna say I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say you're right. I'm gonna win this argument. And one of the strongest statements I saw, I know there's plenty of positive things to point at right now, but I just want to go to Nashville, and I saw where the police officers there at the state capitol were told to drop their shields, and they dropped their shields. And I saw officers across the country take a knee with protesters. I've seen officers hold signs up that say Black Lives Matter. I've seen officers console crying protesters, and so I just want to highlight that. I do understand there's a lot of negativity. There's people not doing the right thing. There's groups trying to take advantage of the situation and trying to exploit the situation. But I want to highlight the good things that we're seeing from police officers, the good things that we're seeing from protesters. And I'm not sitting here saying that all of it is good, because all police officers have not been good during this time, and all protesters have not been good at this time. But I do want to highlight the good that I saw. So that's my attaboy. Ben, what you got over there?
I'll save mine for tomorrow. Doesn't feel right giving an attaboy.
I feel you. All right.
After yours.
I feel you. I got you. 865-255-03. And Alex in North Carolina says, I went to Campbell University. We are Big South. Nothing close to big football, but AJ is a legend here. Hope he gets a shot at the full gig. Oh, he getting the shot. He has the gig, man. He's going to be the strength coach. So I know everyone's kind of looking at Tennessee for the official statement, and I understand it's not the same. I mean, you hear guys like me. You've heard people talk about artists being the guy. And listen, I get it. You want that 100% confirmation. You just never know. I think I bat a pretty good average here with information like that. But still, it ain't 100%. It ain't 100% because no one's perfect. So I know there's some people waiting for that official statement from Tennessee. And I'm just going to let you know, Pruitt he don't care about your timeline. he don't really care about we got to put out an official statement. The moment that a guy is running the show, the moment Joe Ossovet's the tight ends coach, the moment that Brian Niedermeyer's the running backs coach, the linebacker coach, we got to put out a statement that they are at their new positions. No, you didn't get that with them. You're not going to get it with AJ Artis. AJ Artis is going to be your strength coach, and sooner or later there's going to be an official statement, but it just hasn't been now. That's all. Vol Guy 78 on the text box says, Swain, I just want to say thank you and the others that did the Zoom. My daughter is in a relationship with a black guy and has been since they were in high school. They are 20 years old now. I told him I had his back and was willing to F somebody up if they mess with him. I am hand in hand with protesters and show my support for this movement here in South Carolina. God loves us all. Swain, love you. Love your show, brother. Thank you, Vol Guy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Chip Payne, why are you being nasty? Why are you being nasty? That flexibility is very important in the bedroom. Chip Payne, it is 8 o'clock in the morning. Get your mind on your work, Chip Payne. Get your mind on your work. Chip Payne. You can't take Chip Payne anywhere. You know you got that friend where he's like, I don't know if we can take him with us. He's going to do something to get us in trouble or something that's going to embarrass us. That's Chip. That's Chip Payne for you. I'm just kidding, Chip. I love you, man. A lot of people's probably thinking it. Let's get to Turkey Man. Turkey Man, good morning.
First of all, brother, I'd like to give you an attaboy. That was
for what?
That was really uplifting.
For what? What are you giving me an attaboy for, Turkey Man?
You know what I'm giving you an attaboy for what you guys did together. You know we're stronger together. You know that.
Yeah, man, definitely.
I want to share a story with. Maybe you don't really know this whole story, but I'm not going to go in detail. But it'll be a year ago. this coming June that I was called to help a group of people start a church, and they called me as their pastor. And we didn't have a place, a building, and I'm not going to get into the story of what brought this about, but we didn't have a place. And a gentleman said, if you'll call the sister, there's a black church that's been abandoned, but it's going to be a historical site, but it is a historical site. So you call her, and she might allow you to use this building, this facility. So I called her and got to know her and was able to go in and use the facility. And they were fixing to, shortly after we got in it, which is coming up, was going to celebrate their 124-year anniversary as that church being there. And it's a little building. It's the old schoolhouse is budded up and it's the fellowship hall, and then it has a cemetery out there. And so they was going to allow me to be a part of that and take part in that celebration of decoration and of the building being established. And I was looking at it, and my mom, she's 91, she said, your great-great-great-great-grandfather is buried in that cemetery, and he left the land to the black community for a school, a church, and a cemetery. I said, I had no idea. And so we're working in a building that my ancestors 120-some odd years ago had left for that community that I didn't know about. Lord led me there. And they are allowing us to do things for the work of God in a building hand in hand.
That's amazing.
So I did not know. God knew. I did not know when I went there, but God knew. And so I know that you've watched from a distance of what God is allowing us to do. And your wife, I shared with her things that God is allowing us to do. And by working hand in hand, everything can be accomplished. Every time I go in, and I've asked you to come and look, but they have pictures of brothers and sisters from years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, brother, when you step behind that podium, first time I stepped behind that podium, I could feel the saints of old, and it's amazing. But anyhow, I want to share that with you. I'm proud of you, proud of what you do, and I understand it's a sports show, but sometimes it's needed to bring things together and use this week that you have to bring us together. But I want to share that with you this morning. God bless you. Love you, buddy, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Turkey Man. Turkey Man's best call right there. That was amazing. Man, they get your blood flowing right there, man. The hairs on my arm kind of stood up a little bit. Wow. Full circle. T. Diddy says, just want to thank you and Ben for this program and the family environment you bring. Feel like the listeners of this program will stand together as you stood with Foxball. Thank you. Thank you, T. Diddy. Hurley74 says, Swain, bro, I have been a fan of yours since the Big Orange days, and all I can say is during this messed up time is I got your back, bro. Black, white, or whatever skin color doesn't matter to me. Just wish people could learn to love and respect one another like they should. Keep up the killer job. Love you, bro. Thank you, Hurley. Thank you so much, man. Let's see. Chip Payne wants to know, will we see a lot of sloppy play because of, what we described earlier, Ben, during our conversation about, when these guys return, hit the game field, and we understand that the off-season conditioning is different this year, and how will the players be affected by that, and will we see it show up on the game? I think we will see it show up, and I think we will see some sloppy play. Like when you see a running back fumble, like I really pay attention to, okay, was he like, is this his like 7th carry during a drive, or did he just run, 4 straight plays of getting the ball, or did this player just come off the sideline? So, mentally he's not in that groove, he's not in that lather of running the football. This game is so mental. Especially at this level. And we've seen that. We've seen Tennessee be up on Florida and have better teams in Florida and then mentally lose. Like mentally just falter and lose the game. And fatigue plays into that some. When you're tired, you start making those mistakes. You start getting sleepy. Or you stay up late and you have a test in the morning, or if you have a important slideshow, a presentation. If you're dog tired, that's when you make your mistakes. You up late, half sleep, trying to do a paper. That's when you make your mistakes in that paper. But when you're fresh, when you've had breakfast and your mind is clear, man, that's when you're at your sharpest. And I think it's no different than playing on the football field, playing on the basketball court. Man, you make mistakes when you get tired. Like Vescovi, prime example. He joined the team mid-season. There's no way he had the off-season conditioning as everyone else been. There's no way. Of course he's going to be tired. And he was playing crazy minutes. How many mistakes did he make that we can link to fatigue? A ton of it to inexperience. But I'm pretty sure a ton of it was due to fatigue. And so when you're tired, that's when you start making those mistakes, for sure. So, yeah, we'll see some sloppy play of it because of it. What you hope is that it doesn't result in turnovers for Tennessee. You don't want to be turning a football over when you're sloppy. Like, be sloppy and still move forward, score some touchdowns. But, you don't want to be fumbling the exchange and the other team get the ball. You don't want to, have a post-snap read when you're supposed to convert something, and because you're tired, you're not thinking right, and you run some way and the quarterback throws it another way, and boom, there's a pick six. That's what you don't want. But, yeah, we're gonna see some sloppy play. Tennessee Levi says no airplane on that call. Love y'all, man. Power is in the people. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. You're seeing changes here at the University of Tennessee at the athletic department. The reason why you're seeing this is because you're seeing a change in philosophy. You're seeing more emphasis put on people. Now, still got ways to go. Still always can improve, but you see the difference in the last 24 months right here on the Hill in the athletic program. Power is in the people. Hour 3 is coming up here in the Swain event. We'll talk to Austin Price at 9:15. We're talking to recruiting and much, much more coming up. Stay with us.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Guys, Low T Center is open for normal business hours, including Saturdays. Their goal is to help you be the best and healthiest version of you. And right now, if you are concerned with social distancing, Low T Center can help with at-home treatment options for current patients. And they also have great options for new patients, too. At Low T Center, they make it quick and easy to take care of your health. Most health insurance is accepted. They'll even help verify it for you. And just a reminder, if you're feeling bad, have a fever, or travel to high-risk areas, please stay home. If you'd like to learn more about getting a comprehensive health assessment, be sure to call 865-392-1388. That's 865-392-1388. Or you can schedule an appointment online at lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. While the players are gearing up for the gridiron, it's time for you to get geared up at Alumni Hall. Find the best selection of Nike, Nike Golf, Peter Millar, and all of those retro logos you love. And the 2 for $28 t-shirt deal? Game changer. And don't forget about the rest of your game day crew. There are plenty of options for the entire family and to upgrade that tailgate. Shop now at one of their 6 convenient locations in Tennessee or 24/7 at alumnihall.com. It's football time in Tennessee.
Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Do you want a custom-themed tumbler or bottle to show off your team spirit every day of the week? Then look no further than Game Time Sidekicks. All of their bottles and tumblers are double-walled, vacuum-insulated stainless steel, and their quality is second to none in the tumbler market. New this year are their stemless 12-ounce tumblers, perfect for repping your team while enjoying your favorite wine. They also have new 3-in-1 jackets to use as a koozie for a can or bottle, or you can pop a lid on it and use it as a 12-ounce tumbler or coffee cup. Be sure to check out everything Game Time Sidekicks has to offer at GameTimeSidekicks.com. Game Time Sidekicks, helping fans show your colors and carry your team with unique gear you will actually use.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com. Fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America, man. If I see one more picture from Dead End Barbecue, I'm going to be knocking at their door this morning before they even open. It's just 9 o'clock. If I see one more picture, man. There's been some times, man, we've shown up at they open at 11. We shown up at about 10:45.
Sat in the parking lot.
Waiting for those doors to open up like it's Black Friday.
And when they see us, they let us in and let us sit. So
yeah, man, we've been at the door waiting to get those deals like Black Friday or Memorial Day sale or New Year's Day sale. We've been ready to get in there, man.
Peeping through the window like a window shopper that 50 Cent once described.
That's right. No, that's right, man. Oh man, those ribs there are Dead End BBQ on Twitter. That's how you can follow them on social media. Dead End BBQ on Twitter. Those photos, dude. Woo! Hey, you want to have lunch for breakfast? Thank you so much, Turkey Man, for calling us and sharing that. And sports show. Yeah, all kinds of sports shows. You know who plays sports? Humans play sports. Humans play sports. And so when you have this issue at a human level, don't be shocked when it's discussed. Humans play sports. We're all human beings at the core. So I've been pleased to see a lot of organizations stand up. Me and my wife was joking. It's like, we saw where a biking company donated $500,000 to a very, strong cause, and we was like, "Yo, it's time to get this spandex and the helmet out and start getting ready to get on these bikes to support for sure." So 865-255-03 is our telephone number, and just thanks so much for that phone call, Turkey Man. Bobby in Georgia says, "Hey, Swain, watched that LSU game from 05 because it was brought up on the show the other day. Couldn't help but notice you had some of that dog in you. If it wasn't a touchdown, it wasn't good enough. OG Tennessee, dog. If you could have kept that foot in bounds and not got blocked downfield by one of your teammates, could have had some good yardage in that game. Yeah. Happens. It happens. I always tried to block for my running backs. You know, I wasn't a big fan of blocking actually earlier in my career. It's not like I didn't like it. I just didn't understand the difference between blocking at this level and blocking at a high school level, and understanding the running play. So, like, when you're a wide receiver, my freshman year, I just made sure I knew, like, my responsibility. The last thing you want to do is on a passing play run the wrong route. That's what you don't want. But on a running play, you can not know the play and just block the guy in front of you and be okay. But as you get older, you start understanding other people's jobs. And then you start understanding, like, the purpose of the play. Like, what everyone is doing, the framework of the play. And then you're like, yo, this outside zone to the left, how this affects me. Now I'm just not thinking about blocking my guy, but I'm thinking, okay, well, this is an outside zone to the left. More than likely it's going to stay left, and more than likely it may stay outside. And if it stays outside, that means the person in front of me is going to try to take a cutoff angle, and my blocking angle is going to be a little bit different. So instead of coming at him flat, I need to go to where he's going to be. And if he wants to avoid me, then I need to make him avoid me going under than over. Because if he goes under and the ball squirts out, then he is out leveraged and he can't get to the play. But if he gets around me and I allow him to go over the top, then he can still make a play on the running back backside. You start thinking about like that as you get older. Like, the game slows down to you, and you're thinking about, oh, if I'm on the right side and there's a toss sweep right, you're thinking about, oh, I got to block my guy, but here's a couple things I can do. It's a slow developing play. If he's playing me man-to-man, I don't have to really sit there and hand fight with him at the line of scrimmage and block him. What I can do is just sprint 40 yards down the football field. He's playing man. He thinks I'm going to run a pass. So I just sprint. And I just take him completely out of the play. Now that gives my running back more room to operate. He doesn't have to worry about cutting off of me and running up my legs, rolling up over me. I'm possibly hurt from just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Or if it's zone, you can't just run him off. Because he's not even looking at you. He's playing cover 2. He has the flats. He's looking at the ball. If you just run off, guess who's going to be there to tackle the running back in the backfield on this tall sweep? So now I have a different strategy. So I block him, and then I time it up. And then after 1,001, 1,002, then I cut him. As you get older, you really, really, really start to kind of see the game differently. It slows down to you. Anyways, sorry, Ben. I got into the mode, man.
No need to apologize.
I'm just a radio host, though, man. I'm just a radio host. I ain't trying to coach.
What people want to hear.
I ain't trying to coach or anything.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
One day, it's going to happen.
No, man.
You heard it here first.
No. No. Do I got to deal with that?
You were going to.
I got to deal with the recruits top 17.
Yes. Just remember, or please just bring me along. I'm even willing to take the Dwight Schrute role, the assistant to the wide receivers coach.
Man, there's just so much. Like, I remember the LSU game and Brett Smith touchdown. It was 21-0, I think, and or 24-0. I don't know, but Brett Smith's first touchdown, he was in a slot and Rick hit him. I think I was on the outside, just doing my job to make sure to open up Brett Smith, and then, on some of Jerry Riggs' runs, just trying to eliminate my guy on the outside, just to open up more running lanes for and I was a junior that year, so like I understood the run game a whole lot better than I did as a sophomore and as a freshman. And so you just understand, like, okay, based on what we're trying to do and what they're in, I know what he's going to do even before he does it. That's when the game is in slow-mo. And you just wait till some of our younger players get to that point. You just wait till, like, Henry To'o is like, yeah, I see that right leg a little further back on that guard. Mm-hmm. On that left guard, that right leg is slightly back. Yeah, y'all about to pull to the right. Yeah, I see what you're doing. Oh, Bryce Thompson. I can see this in Bryce Thompson now that he's junior. Oh, I see your wide receiver. I see your stance. You're not putting a lot of weight on your front foot on this play like you would do on a passing play. So, yeah, this is a run. Yeah, I can tell. Yep. Like, wait till some of our young players start figuring that stuff out. Then it's on. Then it's really on. But that's just the maturation process of being a college football player. But thanks, Bobby and Georgia, for the message. Really appreciate that. Let's see what else is here on the text box this morning. Brad says last time we played an easy path to the SEC championship game was in 2016. And we know how that turned out, getting beat by South Carolina and Vanderbilt. So we did discuss this before we took one of our breaks, which we will have to come back again to because we got to take another one to bring Austin Price on. But a really good question earlier on the text box was about playing Florida later in the season, playing some of these tougher games later in the season. And the advantages of that, the disadvantages of that, we'll have to get back to that conversation because right now we're going to talk to Austin Price about recruiting. So you want to know kind of what happened about in-state player committing to Tennessee but not really being on the recruiting list? We're going to find out exactly what happened and what can happen moving forward. We'll talk about that with Austin Price of VolQuest.com. Coming up next, stay with us.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
You're listening to the Swain event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Check them out on bbq.com.
Jason Swain here. If you're feeling tired and grumpy, it could be low T or something else like sleep apnea. Low T Center now provides an easy and convenient home sleep test shipped to your home in little as 2 days and receive a CPAP device in little as 4 days. It's never been faster or easier to get tested, and most health insurance is accepted. Now is a great time to take care of yourself while you're being quarantined without sports. To order your sleep test online, just go to lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
You're driving home, flashing blue lights in your rearview mirror. The next thing you know, you're being arrested for DUI. Be responsible, but remember, just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're guilty. Call DUI and criminal defense attorney Marcos Garza. Put this number in your phone right now, 865-540-8300, because you never know when you or a friend will need it. Don't say guilty, say Garza. 865-540-8300 and GarzaLaw.com.
Home service problems occur, even at the most inconvenient times, like during a health crisis. And Hiller is always here to help you 24/7. As people are social distancing and staying at home on workdays, it's an easier time to take care of home maintenance items that you feel are necessary. And we've put new safety precautions in place, like wearing gloves, avoiding physical contact, new sanitation protocols, and limiting time in your home. We're here for you.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty.
They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bring it on. Bring Austin Price in here today. Swain event fueled by Dead End Barbecue. It is time to connect with our guy, Austin Price of allquest.com. At Austin Priceless is where you can find him on Twitter. His time is brought to you by Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty. Her telephone number is 865-257-7897. Austin Price, a.k.a. Steven Spielberg, or some other famous movie producer, Quentin Tarantino. He's from Knoxville. Good morning, Quentin T.
What's going on, Jason Swain? How are you?
I'm good, man. You know, when Aaron, after we recorded the video with the VFLs, Aaron was like, hey, you know, I'm going to get the video edited, and then we'll put it out. At some point during the video that we did there on Zoom, I didn't know that we were going to actually put it out, or I would have wore Tennessee polo like everybody else. I just had on a T-shirt. I was outside working in the yard. I just made sure I didn't have any sweat stains. But after Aaron was like, yeah, you know, I'm going to get it edited, I didn't know that the video was coming to you, Austin, and that you were going to play, you know, Quentin Tarantino.
He said, I've got a guy.
Yeah.
Ironically, I've got lots of guys. So, you know, you're one of them. Aaron Hayden's one of them. You know, it's good people. And, you know, I thought the video you guys did was you know, really, I had nothing to do with it. All I did was zoom in on a few solo shots and, you know, make sure and edit out when Trey Teague's kid walked in the room and said, Dad, I'm ready to go fishing.
He was ready. He was ready to go fishing. And they went fishing and had a good catch.
So yeah, I mean that's about it. I didn't do a whole lot. That was all you guys, and you know, I thought it was some really good discussion, and you know, I thought, you know, you guys provided some great perspective, and you know, if you've not had a chance to go watch it, you know, you can go. You know, Jason's got it all over his Twitter, and I've got it on my Twitter. Aaron Hayden's got it on his Twitter. Everybody, Brad Lampley, everybody, you can find it. It's not hard to find.
Exactly. You know what is hard to find was, you know, Tennessee had a commitment, and I didn't see it on Rivals or 247 or ESPN's commitment list. That was hard to find. Tennessee had a commitment from Bradley Central receiver Trey Curry, who is rated a 4-star by ESPN, rated a 3-star by you know, 247 and Rivals. He's 6'4", he's 210. He has basketball offers. But he's not listed as a commit, Austin. Why is that?
Well, you know, Trey, not currently a take for Tennessee. Tennessee likes his game a lot. I think had Tennessee been able to hold camp, summer camp, like they do for all the prospects, Trey Curry comes in here, works out, you know, this may be a different story. But, you know, right now, you know, it's not. So that's not to say he won't end up here and won't end up in this class. You know, but as of right now, he's not part of it. But, you know, again, Trey's a good player. You know, Javin Burke, another kid at Bradley Central that's getting Power 5 interest, another really good player. So, you know, I think Trey is most likely to end up, you know, in the SEC or ACC before it's all said and done. Will it be at Tennessee? Time will tell. But, you know, as of right now, Tennessee, you know, if they're going to fill out another receiver in this class, I think it's one that can really run and get up and go. Trey Curry kind of fits that same mold that they already have in the Julian Nixons, Rock Taylors, and those type of bigger receivers.
Do you think that, have you heard or think that, the miscommunication, recruits have to be given the kind of the green light to commit, right? And I can understand being excited and letting it fly, without getting it cleared or whatever. Do you think, the miscommunication has, given Trey Curry maybe some a sour taste on Tennessee and maybe affected?
I think that's possible. Mm-hmm. How do you not walk out of that situation and not be a little bit skittish or embarrassed? But at the same time, to me, a lot of it depends on how bad do you want to be. There is a kind of a proper protocol. This happened one other time in this class, but the kid that committed unannounced knew the Tennessee coaches were taking him because they had been trying to get him in the boat, and he had was going to do it, then kind of backed off, and then all of a sudden just text Jeremy Pruitt and Jay Graham, and we're talking about Tyon Evans, and said, "Hey, check Twitter." There was no kind of phone call to say, "Hey, hey, I'm about to do this." He just did it. But in this instance, I'm sure the kid probably wishes he could take it back. But hey, listen, he's going to end up somewhere in the SEC or ACC probably, and everything will be fine. And whether that's here or not, time will tell. But Trey Curry's a good football player, and he has nothing to be, he has nothing to look down on himself about. He will be just fine. His recruitment will end up just fine, whether it ends up at Tennessee or some other really good school.
Austin, I believe since the last time we had you on, JT Daniels made the decision to commit to Georgia.
Yeah, out of left field, right, guys?
Yeah, that was out of left field. As you had mentioned on the show, the two SEC teams involved were LSU and Tennessee, and then out of nowhere, here comes Georgia. So my question is a two-parter. From Tennessee's perspective, what led Daniels to Georgia? I guess how much did they pursue him? And I guess the second part of my question is how much did Ty Simpson maybe influence Tennessee's pursuit of JT Daniels, if it did at all?
Yeah, Tennessee definitely pursued JT Daniels. They had conversations. To say they didn't would be erroneous. But at the same time, I think that the staff was very cognizant of, you've got to have, 100% conviction about taking a kid like this. And that's not to say that, Tennessee didn't have conviction. Okay, I'm just saying, when you're going to mess with potential chemistry, and Jason knows this. He was part of that 05 team. Where you get into a quarterback, a divisive, area with your team, it can really hurt you. So, if you're gonna go down that road, you got to be, totally committed to it. And JT, I think, kind of he felt like that, talking to some people after he made the decision, JT felt like Georgia was more ready-made to win. The Pickens kid was very attractive for JT Daniels. And the other thing, if he came here, and I know everybody loves to hate on JG, but JG's been here for 5 years. This is his year number 2 with Jim Chaney. So the knowledge of everything, all the quarterbacks in the room had knowledge of stuff outside of Harrison Bailey and Jimmy Holiday. Who's got more knowledge of Georgia? Like Jamie Newman, who comes over from Wake Forest, he didn't get to go through spring. They're on level playing field. JT Daniels will come in with just as much experience wearing red and black as Jamie Newman, and those two are the only two that matter. Carson Beck is never going to play there, and anybody else in that quarterback room is not going to play there. It's a two-man race, and JT Daniels is betting on himself that being on a level playing field as far as experience and all that, and number of practices practice, he can beat out Jamie Newman.
Do you think he's going to be because the thing that kind of makes this all weird, and I know like the NCAA is gonna kind of hold off on the immediate waivers this year, it seems like, but my goodness, if he's cleared to play right now, if I'm Jamie Newman, I'm like, really? You brought me here, I got 1 year to go, and you gonna pull this stunt? I mean, that would not bode well.
The notion that's been out there for the last few weeks, and again, it's by no means set in stone, but the notion that's kind of being floated out there is that if you were already on campus for the spring semester, and this does not apply to JT Daniels, who now made the move, come end of May. But if you were, Cade Mays or anybody else that made the move back in the wintertime, that the likelihood is you're going to get rubber stamped, yes, to be able to play right away. But anybody that's making the move later, it becomes a little more gray area. I think personally that they'll probably rubber stamp JT Daniels because he's a quarterback, and because the dad's always been super involved, and so you can bet they're gonna fight to make sure he's eligible right away. I think his case is very, very weak to be eligible right away. But hey, again, there's no rhyme or reason to what the NCAA does. Look back at last year with Tate Martell, Justin Fields. Boom, they're right away. Boom, they can play. The kid goes from Georgia. The tight end goes from Georgia to Illinois because his grandfather was, sick, and he's since passed away. And that kid was denied eligibility. He went from Georgia to Illinois, not Illinois to Georgia. Like it blows my mind. Like some of the decisions that are made, by the NCAA as far as eligibility, because it's not like they follow the letter of the law and everything's consistent. There's no inconsistent thing that you see. So, we'll be interested to see. But you're right. If you're Jamie Newman, how do you go into the season feeling confidence in the coaches around you? Because obviously, he made the decision based off of the intel that he got from Georgia, which was, hey, we don't have anybody. Come be the guy. You can be the guy for the year and be the stopgap to get to Brock Vandagriff in 2021. But no, they went and gotten JT Daniels, who now this kind of poo-poos on Newman if he's eligible right away. And if not, it's going to push Daniels back a year, which means that Brock Vandagriff and Daniels will be in a dogfight to see who wins the competition in 2021. And let's say Brock Vandagriff goes and does it. Then all of a sudden, what's JT Daniels got? JT Daniels got incredible arm talent, but, there's a reason. Every time a kid leaves, there's a reason, in most instances. Sometimes it's to get closer to home, but in this instance, it's not to get closer to home. He's trying to find a place that he can go in and play a year and go to the NFL.
This happening with JT Daniels at Georgia kind of gives me a look at why Kirby Smart kind of botched the Justin Fields deal. No one thought that Justin Fields really was going to beat out Jake Fromm. And Justin Fields clearly thought that he was going to be the starter and expected to be the starter and play more. And I wonder where he got that idea from. And no, I don't wonder where I got the idea from. I know where he got the idea from. And so how Georgia was able to get JT Daniels and the uncertainty of him being eligible this year versus having to wait a year, and then Jamie Newman being able to play this year. This could work out well for Georgia, but I can see it being a issue where it can kind of haunt Georgia with the quarterback position in the future. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a Tennessee guy, but I can see that. Just like when Kevin Sumlin was at Texas A&M and he got Kyler Murray and Kyle Allen, and it's good to get those guys. They're very talented, but he didn't handle it well, and it haunted Kevin Sumlin. He was never really able to bounce back there at Texas A&M. Austin, I want to ask you about Tim Jordan because, when I saw that he had gotten arrested, I had a number of different opinions. Number one, with everything going on, you know, as a young black man with protests going on. You know, when I think of Florida, I think of Trayvon Martin. Driving around with marijuana and a loaded gun just is not smart right now, period, is the first thought to come to mind.
Right now, it's not smart anytime.
Yeah, but especially right now. You get like,
yeah, you're right, especially right now, but not anytime.
Yeah, not anytime, but especially right now. That was my first thought. My second thought was, you got a brand new coach. You got a brand new coach. That's like slamming the door in the face of your date on the first date. What are you doing? Like, this is you're trying to make a first impression. You already have a guy that's a freshman that tore it up as a true freshman, and you know how this works. You got to come in and prove, either be great from a leadership standpoint and knowing your stuff and being more solid in other areas, but you got to kind of make up for the fact that Eric Grace is just unbelievable talent, and physically he's a little bit more talented than you. So, like, you already have to battle that. Now you have a new coach. You are a young father. It's just, this is like the wrong time to get in trouble. And so, like, I wonder, okay, if you are Jay Graham, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you thinking? You know, how are you going to maybe discipline Tim Jordan? Is it a possibility that he's dismissed? My goodness, just a terrible time to get in trouble. You know, what's your thoughts there?
Well, I think Jeremy Pruitt and Jay Graham will have a decision to make. You know, I've thought this whole time that the most likely candidate, you know, and Tennessee's going to have to, you know, move a few guys on to get under the 85 limit. And I just looking at each individual room, you know, that running back room is kind of full. And I thought for a while that it was likely going to be Carlin Fields and Meade that would not be back. But, you know, this to me gives Jeremy Pruitt, you know, an open opportunity to clear up a spot, you know, on his football team. Tim Jordan, you know, the one thing he had going for him was he's excellent in pass protection, Jason. And, you know, if Todd Chandler and Eric Gray could pass protect as well as Tim Jordan wouldn't see the field, you know, because they're better running backs overall. But, you know, that's the one thing that keeps him, you know, on the field is his ability to pass protect. And, you know, I'm going to be interested to see how this plays out because, you know, does Tennessee decide to go in a different, you know, do they decide to keep Carlin Fields and me, who's done everything you could possibly ask for, you know, since he's been on campus here, and do they move on from Tim Jordan? I think it's a situation where, you know, you have to establish some type of precedent, you know, because you're right. I mean, it's not, you know, it's just not a smart move on Tim Jordan's part. And I know that each of the players had a really strong talking to from their position coaches about making good decisions while they're at home. Because remember, they're not under the thumb of the coaching staff, you know, over the last few months because they've been at home, you know. And so, you know, he down in Florida, down in Polk County, just not a smart move from an upperclassman. And now, you know, I think you do have to wonder, you know, will he be back on this football team? I mean, if he does, I think it's solely because of pass protection. But I think if Tennessee knew for a fact that a T. Hodge or a Lenneth Whitehead was going to be able to come in and give them that bigger back feel and be able to help them in pass pro some as a true freshman, then I think it makes it a lot easier to cut ties with Tim Jordan. But clearly, I think this is not a good situation for Tim. But I know this, Jeremy Pruitt, you know, he's not been really outside of Ryan Thaxton when he first got here. And I think that was kind of an establish yourself type move. He's been pretty forgiving as far as, you know, giving guys second chances and, you know, not throwing them to the wolves with a mistake. So we'll be interested to see how this one plays out.
You mentioned that Tennessee was kind of over the scholarship number and will have to make some moves to get under that number. Do you know that number that we're at right now currently?
Yeah, I think that currently Tennessee, as far as pure scholarship guys, I don't count walk-ons that they put on scholarship for a semester last fall. I think Tennessee would be at 87 or 88, depending on where Jeremy Banks stands. I've maintained forever that Jeremy Banks will be back on this football team, so I'm gonna roll with that number. So 88. So Tennessee's got to lose 3. Between now and August. So I think that would kind of be that number that Tennessee would be at. Heading into the summertime months.
Ooh, man. I kind of see like this is you on a plane flight. Get ready to go play some serious golf down there in Georgia. You're on a plane flight. There's only 85 seats, and there's 85 tickets sold, and the announcer's like, "Hey, 3 y'all, we got to give you vouchers. You can't be on this flight." And everyone's kind of looking at each other saying, I don't know who's going to be, but it ain't going to be me. And then it gets to a point where you have to just randomly select somebody, and then there's 3 people just selected not to be on that flight. Well, if you are Jeremy Pruitt, you got to go with the guys that who are failing to uphold their end of the bargain and being a complete student athlete. And
which was why it was a dumb move by Tim Jordan to do this right now.
It's very, very dumb. Yeah, I mean, this is the wrong time to be getting in trouble, man. Tennessee is adding all these pieces to the puzzle and over that number, and Tennessee has to slim some numbers just to get under that 85 number. This is not a good look for Tim Jordan at all.
No, but I'll be the first to say kids make mistakes.
Correct.
I mean, you're right. He's a senior. He's not 18. He's 22. And sorry, I'm outside and people are warm.
It's all good.
So yeah, it's one of those things where for Tim Jordan, I don't think you can you don't condemn the kid for one mistake, but at the same time, he's 22, not 18, and so he's a little further down the line as far as maturity, and you expect more out of a guy that's been in the program for several years. So just not a smart decision by him. And like I said, he opened himself up to a decision by Jeremy Pruitt, whereas before, Tim Jordan's locked, stocked, and loaded, ready for the 2020 season because he was going to be a part of it. Now, maybe, but there's no guarantee.
Ben? Been anything over there? We'll get Ben back in here in a second. Austin, have you heard anything kind of about? And I know AJ Artis is going to be the guy running the show, whatever. But have you heard anything about maybe the game plan with 6 weeks to go before fall camp? Maybe any modifications that the coaches are going to do versus last year that they're going to do this year. How do you envision camp being? What's some of the things that you've heard that Tennessee football is going to do a little bit differently this year versus last year?
Well, I think Tennessee's going to have a longer fall camp, much like all of college football will have longer fall camps. Instead of a month, I think it'll be somewhere in the lines of 6 weeks. And I think that Tennessee will have to be more cognizant with the whole COVID thing. Obviously, they'll be taking temperatures. They'll be, doing all those things from a precautionary standpoint. But I think Tennessee will try to space things out more as far as, not just like 6 feet apart. I'm not talking about that, but have a practice where it's a mental practice and, kind of go into, a couple of practices of grueling work and then back it off a little bit, because, you don't want to, overextend yourself physically before the season even gets here. So I think, that Tennessee's going to take some precautions, and because it's going to be a longer stretch because there was no spring practice.
Do you see hopefully we don't see where our defensive line is trying to practice social distancing like it did against Georgia Tech in 2017? Hopefully we don't see that. That's not a strategy I think we should use or implement. But I think a longer fall camp makes total sense. Because we had a conversation earlier today just about the difference between, summer conditioning and being in shape with shorts and T-shirts on and being in condition with the pads on, and there's football shape that you play into. You get into a lather, kind of after the third, fourth game of the season, mid-season. You get into this football playing shape, and as quickly as Tennessee can get into that, I think the better. And I don't know how much running 110s is going to benefit rather than just strapping on the pads and having more of a fall camp to prepare.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think for some of these kids, they just need the mental work coupled with the physical work. Because you've gotten players that really could have used spring ball as a nice springboard towards the fall. Guys that maybe played a little bit last year and needed that work, or guys that have moved positions. Quavaris Crouch, wasn't going to go through spring, but he's a pretty intelligent kid. He would have been fine as far as learning inside backer. Whereas I think there are other players on that defense that probably needed the actual reps, not just the mental side, not just like learning on an iPad or those type of things. I think they needed to kind of feel it and experience it more so than just see it written out there in front of them.
Before we get you out of here, Austin, I wanted to ask you about the offensive line recruiting board for Tennessee, because there have been some developments over the last couple of days with Dylan Fairchild committing to Georgia and Dietrich Pennington, which was a surprise, announcing his top 5 and not including Tennessee. So,
yeah, no doubt.
How dare
what happened there? And then with those two being off the board, where does Tennessee's offensive line board stand now?
I don't know what happened there. I'm not surprised that he doesn't end up here, because I think he was going to be, out of all the in-state kids, he was going to be the toughest pull of any of them, just because, who you're battling there as far as, Clemson, Auburn, LSU, some really top-notch programs. And the fact that, he is 6 hours away in Memphis. I mean, anytime you're going out there, sometimes you're going to have success like you did a year ago, sometimes you're not. But I was definitely surprised that Tennessee wasn't in the top 5, But, hey, sometimes from a fan standpoint, you're better off or from a recruit standpoint for the fans, you're better off to go ahead and, put Tennessee out of the misery early, and then people move on, than to drag them through it and then, cut them late in the process. So, I think that, William Parker out of Pearl-Cohn in Nashville, very much on the radar. Diego Pounds, there's the honorable kid out of Michigan, and then of course they're going to keep swinging the guy like Amarius Mims. But offensive lineman is more of a developmental position, so you're going to see new names pop up over the course of the fall. But yeah, Tennessee needs to land them at least 2 more offensive linemen, if not 3, in this class, because just you want to keep that number up in that offensive line room for pure depth.
Austin Price, VolQuest.com. Let me get you out of here soon, man. I ain't gonna hold you all show, but Jeremy Banks is going to be on this football team. Looks like he's going to be playing defense. What's the holdup in him being reinstated, or is he unofficially reinstated? Is what's the current status of Jeremy Banks? Are we treating him like he's already on the team, or are we making him still jump through hoops? Do we make him feel like he's not a part of the team? What's the status of Jeremy Banks right now?
I mean, I'm treating him as if he's on the team.
Okay.
I think the coaching staff is probably treating him as if he's on the team as well. I'll be interested to see does he show up, now or Wednesday when the players, roll into town. Is he back then? Does he come back in July? Does he have to wait till August? To me, there's 100% certainty that he will be on this football team. But when does he show up? I mean, because I don't know the campus side of things. Do they have to jump through hoops here, or have the hoops already been jumped through, and because of the COVID stuff, nobody's been on campus. Nobody's nobody knows. So when he shows up is the biggest question for me. It would not surprise me at all if he's back, coming up, in the coming days, to work out with the football team. But again, I don't know that to be certainty. I just know that I do believe he will be back.
Like when a guy is suspended or a guy is not on the football team, when you have position meetings, he's not in those meetings. So, like, I wonder if Brian Niedermeyer is conducting linebacker meetings with his players, is Jeremy Banks on those meetings, on those calls? That's all I want to know. And, if we were treating him like he's on the team, then yeah, he should be on those calls. I think he should be on the team. I think he has done a fabulous job just improving as a young man and growing as a young man. And I said this yesterday, Austin, I think Pruitt's greatest victory here at the University of Tennessee is what he's done with Jeremy Banks. And we've seen coaches dismiss players, and those players immediately move away from a city or they disengage from the program. But Jeremy Banks grew as a young man, not actively being on the roster. And I think that's a testament to, like, the leadership there at University of Tennessee, the athletic program, and Coach Pruitt and his support staff to pour in Jeremy Banks and understand that he needs to improve as a young man if he's going to improve as a football player, period. So that's Pruitt. For me, that's his greatest victory so far at Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like that he had him do some internal running or, he suspended him for a game or two. I mean, Jeremy Banks has not been heard from since, week 3, week 4 last year?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he's spent ample time away, from the football team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do think that Jeremy Pruitt's handled it in a way where he didn't slap him on the wrist. He didn't kick him off the team. There was kind of a middle ground, where he was not on the team, but he also, didn't, just annihilate him, and put him down a bad path. He stuck with this kid, and, I think Jeremy Banks on the whole is a pretty good kid. I just think, he's, a young kid, so he's got some immaturity to him, and the more he matures, the better he'll be.
Absolutely. Austin, man, as always, thank you so much for the time. Again, appreciate you playing Quentin Tarantino on that video, man. Your work made the video better. I know there's a lot of great content in there that, I know you're not trying to take credit for, but, man, the people behind the scenes, pulling the strings, the buttons, and the editing, that stuff matters too, to kind of, deliver the video in a way that maybe a raw video maybe would have not delivered it in the same way. So I appreciate you, man, for going Barry Rice on us, man. Link Hudson, VFL Films on us.
Yeah,
man.
let's not compare me to those guys. Okay? those guys are, they're in a different stratosphere. I'm just down
Correct.
here. Down here on the earth.
No doubt about it, man. VFL Film guys are the best. So, Austin, man, thanks so much for your time. I know you guys got a lot of stuff there at VolQuest. And before you go, what can we expect in the next week before we get you on next week at VolQuest?
Well, we'll have our Rocky Top Rewind podcast takes us to the Missouri game. That's coming up tomorrow. We'll have our Mailbag podcast coming up on Friday. More recruiting coverage as we try to update you on as many 2021s and 2022s as possible. And Rob Lewis will continue his bracket of greatest fall basketball players of all time.
I like it. We gotta get some information from Rob, man, on the basketball front, man, with Kennedy Chandler. See what's going on with him, man. See how this move to Kansas may help or hurt Tennessee's chances with the 5-star point guard out of Memphis. So that's another conversation for another day. But Austin, thanks so much for your time, man. Really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
See you. Austin Price, VolQuest.com. His time is brought to you by Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, you can do that with Jennifer Morris. Again, her telephone number is 865-257-7897. Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty. Our last break of the day here on the Swain event. Hour 3 is powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Stay with us. Be right back.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Guys, Low T Center is open for normal business hours, including Saturdays. Their goal is to help you be the best and healthiest version of you. And right now, if you all can take care of your health, most health insurance is accepted. They'll even help verify it for you. And just a reminder, if you're feeling bad, have a fever, or travel to high-risk areas, please stay home. If you'd like to learn more about getting a comprehensive health assessment, be sure to call 865-392-1388. That's 865-8, or you can schedule an appointment online at lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. While the players are gearing up for the gridiron, it's time for you to get geared up at Alumni Hall. Find the best selection of Nike, Nike Golf, Peter Millar, and all of those retro logos you love. And the 2 for $28 t-shirt deal? Game changer. And don't forget about the rest of your game day crew. There are plenty of options for the entire family and to upgrade that tailgate. Shop now at one of their 6 convenient locations in Tennessee or 24/7 at alumnihall.com. It's football time in Tennessee.
Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Do you want a custom-themed tumbler or bottle to show off your team spirit every day of the week? Then look no further than Game Time Sidekicks. All of their bottles and tumblers are double-walled, vacuum-insulated stainless steel, and their quality is second to none in the tumbler market. New this year are their stemless 12-ounce tumblers, perfect for repping your team while enjoying your favorite wine. They also have new 3-in-1 jackets to use as a koozie for a can or bottle, or you can pop a lid on it and use it as a 12-ounce tumbler or coffee cup. Be sure to check out everything Game Time Sidekicks has to offer at GameTimeSidekicks.com. Game Time Sidekicks, helping fans show your colors and carry your team with unique gear you will actually use.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Eight 865-255-03. Got about 5 minutes if you want to get in before we wrap up today's show. Ben McKee, Jason Swain here. Again, Swain event is fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Hour 3 is powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Man, get to the website. Get to the website. Take care of your health. Sleep apnea, Low T is addressing that. Simply go to the website. Get yourself set up with a in-home sleep test. We can get those results processed. We can determine that you do need a CPAP machine, and that can be to you very, very quickly. So Low T Center is addressing that issue. Also, with the social distancing and all the new protocols that businesses are making, Low T Center is right there following the CDC guidelines and right now making it really safe and easy for our men to get testosterone injections at home by self-administering those. So you can do that with the guidance of Low T Center. You can do that now too. So lowtcenter.com, their Knoxville location website, Knoxville location telephone number is 865-392-1388. And there's locations in East Tennessee, 3 right there in Middle Tennessee, and 1 in Chattanooga. So make sure, guys, lowtcenter.com. Get there. Triple O is supposed to call in, but I guess he got caught up. Knoxville Phil says, can't we gray shirt or blue shirt a couple guys? You can. I think that was something that that the previous staff did there, especially in 2004 when they signed 32 guys, and you tried to finagle the numbers a little bit. But what happens is it affects you the next year. I mean, you basically robbing Peter to play Paul. It's kind of like, taking out a loan with crazy interest, and you initially you may get the money, but you'll be paying more for it later. And you can do that in this class. You can go over the numbers and back count and things like that, but all it does is shorten the numbers in the future, and that's the position I don't think Peru wants to put himself in. So the numbers will work itself out. I know it's easy to kind of sit here and go, oh, there's 24 guys committed, 25 guys committed. What's going to happen? Well, you know what's going to happen. It's going to short us. It's going to work itself out. There'll be some guys that won't be a part of this class. There'll be some guys that will be added to this class, and it always works itself out, and it's no different this year. So that's going to happen again. With the scholarship numbers, that's an interesting thing too, because Austin Price said, hey, Tennessee's at like 87, 88, need to get to 85.
Well, and on that, I actually counted that up like a week ago because I was curious, and I came up with the number 92 when you include or factor in the 19 remaining signees from the 2020 class. You take 4 away because of the early enrollees in Cooper Mays, Dominic Bailey, Jimmy Holiday, and Harrison Bailey, which leaves 19 signees who have not technically arrived yet or yet been put on scholarship. And when I added it up, maybe I can do this again today to maybe check myself, but I had 92 scholarship players.
Yeah, that don't even sound right, because there's no.
Well,
I just don't think.
I do know how to count.
Yeah, I know that, but I just don't think there's a way that you allow yourself to get over 87 or 88 to the point where you're at 90 and you got to let go of 5 or more people.
You can if you expect to have spring practice in the summer to have attrition.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We got somebody on the phone, and I want to get to them right quick. That's a conversation for maybe tomorrow, but that's interesting. We'll dig more on that. Let's get to Rusty. You got about 30 seconds, Rusty.
Hey, man, thanks so much. Just want to call and recap that Ben is, in fact, ducking me, Swain, on NCAA, because you can play online. The servers are up on PS3. I played an online game last night. And I just want to say prayers for everybody out there, no matter what color your skin is, what your religious beliefs are, whether you're a cop, a lawyer, a doctor. Pray for everybody, and God bless you guys.
Thank you, Rusty. Appreciate it, man. We got a run for today. And Ben, stop ducking Rusty, man. Play him in the video game so he can give you that L. For Ben McKee, I'm Jason Swain. The Swain Events fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Hope you have a great day. Peace and love. We are out.